And just let me know when you get the link, and I will share it with my
Sure
followers.
thing. Let me
Thank you.
see. It should be a different link. Let's validate that. Since I killed the previous one and made a new one. Yep, it's a new link. Very good.
Great. I'll put down my Hot
Fantastic.
Wheels and prepare to broadcast then.
And you are on screen right now. Just FYI.
Okay, great.
Okay. I think. Oh, you know what? The one thing I haven't done is I haven't validated yet that the window is being captured correctly. And in fact, I'm sure that it isn't. So
Okay.
let me actually pop over there in studio mode real quick and
Okay.
change that capture over to this one here. There we go. Okay, let me adjust the transform a little bit here. Off the top, we're going to kill that many pixels. Wait, is that right? Oh, no, 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 no. I had that right to begin with. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. Okay, there we go. Okay, that looks good. Studio mode off. Let's go ahead and public. Anybody watching the beginning of this video is going to be like, oh, well, this looks stupid. Let's change the privacy level here so people can actually join.
Okay. Wow, it takes him a while to get into the actual meat of this video, doesn't it? It's a long intro.
All right, and let's see. Ah. Oh boy, boy howdy. Oh, and then I have to also. I'm still new to this, so I have to go adjust the chat. I have to go adjust the chat source because that's changed. Dink dink. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So
And just
supposedly I've loaded the chat. I don't see the chat. Chat doesn't look loaded to me. Let me see. Did I do that right? Let me click OK. So everyone, I'm still getting. No, that looks right.
oh, it says we're live now.
Oh yes.
I see
Oh,
a
and
few
there we
people
go.
saying,
Yep. There's
"There we
text.
go."
There's text popping up there. Yeah. So I guess I just did something to the chat that I don't know how I integrated the YouTube chat so well into this layout. I had such a hard time getting it at first, and then it just clicked. So.
Is it cool if I share this link with my followers as we get
Oh
ready
yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah. Go nuts. Go nuts. Go nuts.
Great.
We're ready to go.
All right. Let me just type this out real quick, and I'm all set.
Mm-hmm. And then I gotta share it in my special locations where I share things as well. And of course, welcome everybody to our let's see, inaugural episode 2, the sequel. um, the
Okay.
the the last time that we did this, we just sat and read a magazine for 3 hours. Everyone seemed to have a blast, and you know, it was so good, and people were just like, "You should just do that again." So I'm like, "Okay, let's just do that again." So we're gonna just pick it up from where we left off. We're just gonna go nuts with the same magazine. So to begin with, some information. I don't know if anybody, probably some people who have joined already. I think I see some names here that are not in my Discord chat and may not be patrons, even if you are subscribed. Just so you know, there are some patron-only videos on my account now. If you sign up for my Patreon at the $2 level or above, you get all of those. So I'm starting to build that up so that there'll be some back catalog that people will just get that they can binge through whenever when they sign up for me, because I feel like that's a nice bonus. But it's also an opportunity for me to do stuff that's a little less polished. Um, I'm a real stickler about what my public videos look like, and uh, anything where I haven't planned it, haven't scripted it, haven't whatever, where I don't know what's going to happen, I'm just real uncomfortable putting it on my public channel. It just I feel like I imagine people showing up and seeing that as me just sort of going awe and whatnot as as my first video. Hey, I know there's people like there's plenty of people out there, plenty of tech channels that have no trouble with that sort of thing. But for me, I'm just convinced that if people see me in my natural state, that they're not going to smash that bell, as it were. So, anyway, there's videos that I make patron only that are things like me unboxing stuff I've gotten in the mail where I have no idea what it's going to be. And one of those was the denouement of the last live stream we did, where I bought these Austin laptops. I found a lot on eBay of 4 laptops. 2 of them were the ones from this company here, this Austin, and then one of them. You know what's funny? I think one of them might be the Dell that's in that ad. It might possibly be. Let me look it up. Dell 325N. Tony, did you watch that video by chance? Did you have an opportunity?
No, I have not had a chance yet.
It's all good.
You sent me pictures, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I was actually guesting on somebody else's episode of their content yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
Right. It's all good. Hey, a couple things. One, yes, this is the exact same laptop. So
I love that keyboard.
It is.
That's
it
incredible.
is the same one. I'm sure of it. Two, I'm not doing anything about the Activate Windows shame badge. That is staying. If I ever activate this VM somehow, I'm going to get that as a GIF and overlay it on my stream, no matter what I do. I don't ever want to have a stream that doesn't say Activate Windows. I want to actually have it stick out of the Discord, out of the OBS capture area, so it's obvious that it's fake. But I want Activate Windows Now to be on my stream at all times. I should put it in my static videos. I should put it in everything. I should put it in my avatar.
You should put it in your CRD live layout.
Yeah, exactly.
Post a selfie from like your phone, and it's just got Activate Windows written directly over the edge of your shirt.
Instead of the Getty Images watermark.
Oh, you need a polo with a monogrammed Activate Windows pocket on it.
That's beautiful. Yes, that's beautiful. I should have that made. It would look so tasteful.
Honestly, you could probably wear that to some kind of computer convention, and people would go nuts for it because it'd be hilarious.
That's
genuinely.
True. So yes, this is the exact laptop. So I ordered that lot of Austin laptops. They are not the same models. Hey Ben, they're not the same models that are in the magazine ad, but the Dell is the exact same model. So I think that's pretty funny. Anyway, like I said, the whole video is patron-only content, but I do feel okay giving you the synopsis, which is they're all dead, and I mean dead as fried chicken, dead as hell, dead to the point where I gutted them, ripped out their hard drives because these things will never live again. These laptops they're over, they're canceled, they're done. So it was really sad that it turned out that way. It's part of why I didn't make a public video about it, because I'm like, well, crap, there's nothing to say here. They all just don't work. There just wasn't enough to do anything with. But anyway, that is the outcome of sort of the highest point of our last voyage into the 1993 PC Magazine, is that we discovered this artifact, this time capsule, and when it arrived, we discovered that the rain had leaked into the time capsule and fouled everything, as it were. So it was a huge bummer, but here we are. Okay, that's fair. The highest point was K-Car talk, and the lowest point was groupware. We can all agree on those two things.
In our post conversation after, we were like, all right, definitely no more groupware again. That stuff's it's just definitely not like the most interesting topic. What page were we at before? We went past all this. We saw these.
Yep.
I don't want to retread anything.
No. We don't want to retread. We got stuff to get done.
While you're going through this, I can show off the fact that I actually redid my stream layout because I knew that I'd be doing more podcasts after that one. So I was streaming videos, whatever. So now everything looks fancy and nice. So whenever we have a lull, I'll go through Hot Wheels. But
I'm going to do a lengthy groupware stream. Hey Nero, hey Timmy, hey Daniel. Thanks for joining. We're going to do a lengthy groupware stream at some point where we only talk about groupware, and if you try to bring up anything else, you get banned. We'll ban you from the channel.
You're going to have to cut my video feed as soon as I start going off topic.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to buy this and it's Tony's gone. But anyway, no, I love the groupware. I know a lot of people here love the groupware, but it was a tremendous lull, and I swear to God, I checked the analytics and my viewership actually started dropping off when I brought it up. So it was just, I'm never gonna stop thinking about groupware as like this radioactive topic. I can't go where I can't talk about groupware. What we can talk about actually is we left off on the left page here, and I'm actually ready to pick up right on the right one because I already see some wild stuff. So let's just go hog right off the bat.
All right.
So first, we're not looking at that thing in the upper right, okay? That's the special treat that we get for getting through the rest of this page, because I know we're all looking at that.
I am already,
but
actually.
Let's just start with this, because this is interesting. LAN packages distribute apps. When network users need the latest version of an application, the system administrator usually can't just purchase the package, copy it to the server, and post an announcement. So, which is very funny. Yeah, everybody gets an email. It's just like, hey guys, in the break room, there's some Vizio. And if you want some Vizio, make sure you get some before 2. Because Stacy's taking the rest of it home to her kids. Hey, Christian.
It's like a
Hey,
Dunkin'
Bites.
Donut box you flip open, a bunch of floppies inside.
Exactly,
like,
right? Isn't that?
It must be the first Monday of the month.
Have you just described Office? Anyway, yeah, so this goes on to say that a number of vendors are trying to solve exactly that problem. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, this problem is a solved problem now, to the best of my knowledge. The organization I work in uses most of the functionality. Oh, hey, Chris. Uses most of the functionality of like a Windows domain. They're utilized. There was a term I had for this. Full contact. They're full contact Active Directory users, which means things like, my documents lives on the domain server instead of the domain controller or the file server, instead of locally on the machine, and they're using group policy, and we have 6 domains, and it's like living in hell. But they also use the software distribution mechanism that's built into the Active Directory system. So if they want to install a program on everyone's computers, they just snap their fingers, and overnight it just gets pushed, and everybody comes in the morning, they've got a new program. Anything that uses MSI, at least, I don't know if it works with other installers, but it seems pretty efficient. So SCCM,
that was actually part of the reason why I laughed to begin with, is because like through my whole programming career, everywhere I've been, it's just like, yeah, we're gonna push the button that says update everybody's computer, and just wham, it's all out. So the idea of that being like the black and white infomercial, like, oh,
if only there was a better way.
Software. It's like I've literally never known another way in my whole life.
Yeah, right. It seems like something that should just be automatic, but no, it wasn't. Okay, not only is that, yep, exactly. Not only is that a thing we can do now, but well, here, let's take a look at this real quick and see how this works, because I'm going to get to something. I'll get to something else here. Let's look at how this works. So Novell, IBM, Fry Computer Systems, whoever the hell they were, don't know them, and Software Spectrum, likewise, have recently announced software distribution programs, and Microsoft also has one in the works. I wonder who's going to win that fight. But mainframe-based software distribution has been around for a while, but the new crop of programs brings this function to PC servers. I'm not really tied into that particular bailiwick enough to really know what they mean by that. Mainframe-based software distribution seems like it would just refer to making software available to multiple users on a multi-user system, which isn't really software distribution so much as just giving you like a permission. But
it's almost that doesn't sound like it's going to push it out to you.
Well, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I don't speak AS400 or like VMS or anything like that, and I wouldn't be surprised if over there it's more like tenants than it is the sort of Unix approach that we're used to now. So maybe you do have to actually install to someone's like profile. Technically, this exists on Windows as well, but doesn't typically get used because we don't usually do. No, I don't know how many people really do. Like terminal services, big terminal services cluster servers anymore. So I'm not really sure how that works out. But anyway, so moving on, though, what I was looking for was, okay, unattended distribution, tracks updates in a log file,
List price starts at $1,000 for 5 nodes. That's really that really tells you the volume of, like, enterprise computing and how that's changed.
Yeah, well,
since, but 5 nodes nowadays is like one group of cubes. It's not even one individual. It's not even like one room anymore. I've sat in a cluster of cubes without dividers. That's 5 people in there.
Are we sure that a node refers to a user? Because typically the term would be seat. So I wonder if they're not. I wonder if they might not be talking about like the actual servers. You know what? But 1993. So if you had 50,
I'm not sure.
But here's the thing: if you had 50 users, that's what, 50 grand? Oh, but you know what? That's a list price. It doesn't say monthly, yearly, one time. So I don't really know. Anyway, if we move on here, though, I just noticed something. Fry Computer Systems, whoever they are, Software Update and Distribution System, SUDS. Oh, man.
Well, they lost the computer battle since I've never heard of them, but they made the best name.
They must have, right? Hey, man, thank you. And thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And then, yeah, it goes on like that. Okay, well, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because there was a thing that was going on in the mid to late 90s. Sorry, Abby. Yeah, I ended up ended up having to start this late myself. Maybe I'll try and do one of these in the morning on the weekend one of these days. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a picture of one of these things. 1996. Oops, my numlock is off. There's actually a piece of hard technology. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. Wait. Let me try. Man, I don't think I'll be able to find this, which is really a shame. Okay, so here we go. So this is a small CD-ROM server, and it is exactly what it appears to be. There were larger versions of these that had like hundreds of CD-ROMs, or they were attached to a robot that could pick discs for you, like a jukebox. And the idea is, yeah, so at a time when, so there was a period in the mid 90s where the first thing is you would get software that you get a site license for, right? But suppose you have 10,000 seats, 10,000 workstations,
yes,
and 10,000 users and a 10,000 user license for Visio. How many copies of the Visio disk do you own? Well,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, suppose you need to bring up 25 new workstations in one day. Well, do you really want to have to get the disk from each one and carry it to the next one? No. What you want to do is you want to put the Visio disk in a drive, mount that over a network share, and install straight off of that. Because your license gives you the right to do that. Because hypothetically, particularly with Microsoft, the license is a license and the software is just bits. Theoretically, You're allowed to use one disk for many people. They're not really clear on why you can't duplicate the disks. They get real mad about that, even though they have no standing. But what you can't do is you can't duplicate the license. But as long as you have the license, they don't mind if you use the same disk for all systems. So you just put one disk in one machine. Well, but your business uses tons of disks. So you have one for Office, one for just Visio. You've got one for installing Windows. You've got one for back office servers, extra bits and pieces for all the many servers you run around your organization. You've got one for right? Yes, yeah. It's just like a tape archive and network available, right? So and then on top of that, as Grace said, yes, exactly. There were entire industries based around the idea that every month you get shipped a CD that had the latest mumble on it. So the latest stock information, giving you all sorts. The source was a big one. The source CD 1996. I'm sure I can find this. Basically, no, I can't find this. In 1996, the source was a disc that they would send you that had a whole bunch of stock predictions on it. And your whole company would just live and breathe off of this disk. Well, again, you don't want Stuart in this cubicle to have the disk, and you also can't afford many gigs of hard drives. And it may even be difficult to run it off a hard drive. Some things want to be run from CD, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, you put it in the central server, and then, yeah, your GIS data, which would have been enormous back then, like mapping information, like detailed geographic maps of the U.S. in vector data format, huge. Big data for that time. So, yeah.
This is a horrifying contraption that makes complete sense. But it's really...
I love it. It's very good. Ooh!
Oh my God.
There we go.
No. Oh no.
There's the good boys.
Holy crap.
That's what we're looking for. Yep. So I think these might be recent ones, but yeah, big boys.
That is a lot of discs. Oh my God. I mean, it makes sense as a device, and I get the use for it and everything, but it just sounds
very gross. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't. Of all the things that appeal to me about computing, this does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Folks, we got.
No way.
Yeah, here it is. The SureStore Optical 320EX. Let's go ahead and. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
There we go.
It actually is that's way too
Yeah,
much
yeah.
stuff.
It's a disc robot, and then you've got all your drives. I think you got your drives down
I
at the
believe
bottom.
I actually rolled backwards in Recoiling in Horror.
I
I
want
don't
one.
know why it bothers
Ooh!
me. Oh my god.
That's an audio one. That's for home use.
Okay.
That's an actual jukebox. Anyway, so I just thought it was interesting that this company was talking about doing that in 1993, but I think compact disc jukeboxes had not yet become a thing. So I'm kind of curious. Also at this time, the software they're installing was not very big. In 1993, Microsoft Office was, I don't know, 4 megabytes, 10 megabytes, something like that. It grew substantially throughout the 90s. I could go find out. I can go get the discs off WinWorld and find out what the actual sizes are. Anyway, but it's interesting to me. This sounds like it's all software based. Anyway, at the very end, not to be outdone, Microsoft is at work on a software distribution program as part of its Hermes project. And I wonder, if we look up Microsoft Hermes, I wonder if we'll find out that, oh wow, that's interesting. They've actually recycled the code name. Was it SCCS? Something like that?
I don't remember. I'm bad at that kind of thing.
SCCM? That was it. Yeah, there it is. Microsoft SCCM.
System Center Configuration
Yeah,
Manager.
I was thinking that might be... Oh, hey, this guy. Fair. Greg, thank you. Oh, Acrylic. Hey, you're here. Yeah, so I don't know. Well, the only thing I have is somewhere in the program folder is SMSCCM Hermes.ico. Oh, actually, no. Here it is. This is written on one of the Microsoft blogs. Config Manager. Yep, there we are. For Project Hermes, and then if I search SCCM, Ken has led the engineering efforts on it. Yep. So this eventually became SCCM. So it started in '93. Yeah. So that's pretty good stuff. Hey man.
Okay, we got through the other thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to explode if I don't ask why there is a Palm Pilot with a telephone strapped to it.
Yeah. There is a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on, and
yeah.
So this is the thing that's always funny to me is I've been around for not a super long time. I feel like I've been around long enough that I remember DS and the first iPhones and iPod Touch and all this stuff, and every single time it's touch screens just kind of make a little bit more way into our lives. But I remember my dad having a Palm Pilot when I was 3. It was already dead, I think. Maybe not a Palm Pilot, some sort of touchscreen stylus-based device. And it's always amusing to me because I feel like every time I've discovered the earliest one that was this is going to be when it takes off, I go back 5 years earlier and I find that there was something like this, which was a $2,000, the personal communicator 440. And it makes me wonder, did this not catch on because it was $2,000 or was it because it was terrible?
A lot of it probably had to do with people just not having a function for it. Just a second. Hey there, TRS-80 guy. TRS-80 fan club. I shouldn't say guy. I'm glad you're a fan, and I'm glad you like my stuff. Thanks for joining. Everyone always notices my keyboard as soon as I get on here. They're PBT 2 shots that I got from Amazon for $30. I should just put a link. I should put a promoter link to that Amazon listing in my live stream description because everyone's always like, "Dang, nice keycaps."
They are really nice, actually.
By the way, I love this. I don't know who started it, but this particular set of colors is called the Miami Colorway. And it is not this particular manufacturer that chose it. This is all over the place. This particular set of colors is a standard for keyboard cap sets now. Yeah, I don't know why. It makes sense. Miami, there you go. But
yeah, I just thought it was the trans flag with no white.
No, I didn't even get it for that reason. But it's a nice side benefit. Anyway, all right. So let's move into this. So EO, I've never heard of them. And let's see, EO computers. Let's see, EO Inc.
Ooh.
Yep, there's a wiki page. Later acquired.
Officially named the AT&T EO personal communicator.
Which is interesting because it started out as an AT&T with an AT&T chip, the AT&T Hobbit, which I've heard of before. that runs some sort of weird risk-based C thing. Hey, this guy, I used to stream on Twitch. I don't do it anymore. Really, well, I don't know. I haven't decided. I get a lot more people watching on here. But also, I do have a Discord, but it's only for patrons. So if you can find the Patreon link on my channel if you're interested in subscribing. Anyway, so this is interesting, but we're not going to get super deep into that. Let's look at the device itself. So it combines. Oh my God. the personal communicator will combine fax. Right off, like it could have started out with a computer, email, pagers, and then ended up at fax. No, starts with it will combine fax, comma. Just going right into right. 1993 is happening now.
So it combines fax, cellular modems, phones, pagers, email, and computer. So it's essentially a smartphone. The thing that I find interesting is below that image, weighing a scant kilogram and measuring 10.8 by 7 inches.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is like, yeah, I'm just gonna lug around this small brick.
I'm trying to
like
think.
literal brick.
2.2 pounds is probably about twice of this tape measure. I feel like this has got to be. I feel like this is about a pound. So I'm trying to pick. Yeah, 2 of that.
2.2 pounds.
Pretty hefty.
What do I have near me that would be 2.2 pounds?
I don't know. I have a FortiGate 60E. I'll bet that's 2 pounds. I'm trying to imagine. It's probably about the same size, right? So I'm just
trying to imagine like.
So I had a FortiGate on my belt, which was the style at the time.
I'm just trying to imagine like how you would carry that easily. Like, do you throw it on the passenger seat of your car?
I think you throw it at somebody who's trying to rob you. No, take this thing. I can't get the fax. I don't even want it. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Acrylic is contributing here. The main TV ad for it spent half its runtime touting its ability to send someone a fax from the beach.
Oh God.
Gross.
You know, one of the things I really like too is like, so my entire career has been spent obviously in the era of instant communication.
Yes, Ben.
And obviously I would do anything to get rid of that from my life. Like I would die to not have a phone on me sometimes. And the idea of everybody being like, here, carry this 2-pound device to the beach so you can send a fax while you're in the waves is just like, why did you want this so bad?
Yeah.
I'm live from the future and I'm here to tell you it sucks.
Okay, so this is fascinating. Things just keep popping off. The mixed voltage EO personal communicator. Don't know what that means. Operates on Go's Pinpoint. What? Who is Go? Go Pinpoint. Let's just get into it. Oh gosh, Pinpoint OS. It ran on AT&T Corporation's EO personal communicators, as well as a number of x86 powered tablet PCs. It's wow. DOS. It runs, or sorry, not DOS, but wait, is it? Is it an operating? It is. It's an operating system. It'll run on like a 486. Ah, shoot! I gotta get it. Somebody has it, right? Is it on WinWorld? Is it archived? Let's see. Reference, operating system overview.
UI design guidelines. That's probably its own interesting document.
Extremely juicy, right? Like, yeah. Let's just pick up the needle and just drop it on the record. Standard user interface elements. Yes, very good. You got your windows, you got your icons, you got your menus, you got your. Oh, that's very good. Look at what's going on here. Look at the round buttons.
Yeah, it feels very 90s sleek. It looks like the Mitsubishi Eclipse of UI, like the second gen.
Author Arnold F. Blimp. Oh, this is tasty. This looks like it's CDE based. Grace, my guess would be that you create a native document on the device and then it I guess not digitizes it, analogizes it. You know, it rasterizes it. There we go. Rasterizes it on its way out so anyway, it's like Windows faxing, you know. It's probably all soft fax. Anyway, sorry, real quick, this is very important to my career. I need to go over to our Internet Archive and just check if Pinpoint is in the software archive, and if not, I gotta start putting out feelers because oh my god, it's not here. Oh, that's so messed up. Let's go to eBay. Oh, right. This machine. I switched to another VM from last time, so this one is not yet used to my shenanigans. It doesn't know that eBay is. If I say E, I obviously mean eBay. Like, what did you think I meant? E-machines. Let's see. We're looking up pen point. At least it's a nice, unique word. Did you mean bond point? I really didn't.
Did you mean a pen point?
Computers, tablets, and network. No. This is not looking good. Let's do vintage pen point. Oh, whoa. Hello.
Oh my God.
Hello.
It's even a bid one.
Yes, it is. It's got 2 days left. I don't think anybody knows this exists. Oh gosh,
that
is definitely an IBM dock. That's the exact same dock they used for a bunch of other stuff.
Does it work? Well, it says untested. Okay.
I could possibly get this for $50 shipped. Whoa! It's a prototype.
Oh.
Go Corporation confidential proposal information only. Oh man. Oh wait.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is super wacky. It's gonna become a tradition that anytime I do a stream, I end up making an eBay purchase. That obviously, I'm going to eBay right now. I'm dropping a bid on this as we speak. Let's see, vintage pen point. I don't know. Let's see, does it work?
I just checked the chat and a bunch of people are like, get it.
Yeah. Selling as is, no way to turn on system. A picture could speak 1,000 words. It doesn't. Thanks, bud.
That picture speaks like 5 words, and it's "This is a tablet."
Yeah, it doesn't really go.
That's
very
only
far.
4 words.
This is a tablet, comma, dumbass. Okay, I am putting a $5 bid on this.
Somebody's gonna outbid you now. Actually, I don't think anybody here is gonna outbid you because they're just gonna be like, "Oh, we know who should get this device."
Yeah, I was gonna say, if somebody here outbids me,
Gravis.
I expect you to send it to me. That is an expectation. I'm putting that evil on you.
I mean, it's not exactly like it's not. The other thing too is it's not exactly like you're shopping for rare gold brick. It's hey, there's a Google document.
Yeah, those are fake. Sorry, Star3539 is saying there is a download page. Oh gosh, of course somebody has on Beta Archive. As it happens, I've got some connections. Oh, is it still on Mega?
What that's about, but
Beta Archive is this whole story we will not get into at this time. I'll tell you when you're older.
That's fair.
Oh, but you know what? This is not supposed to be available to me, but because the forum link was exposed, I can still grab it off Mega. So I'm grabbing it off Mega. Hell yes. Now I don't know whether you know what this might not be the x86 version is the thing. I will never activate Windows. This might not be the x86 version, but let's find out if it is. Dink. Woo. Some interesting things going on here. Gestures, RAM. Oh, it's a development kit. Looks like. Okay, that's intriguing. Discard W, go pin. A PDF? I wouldn't have expected that. This is Windows 8, by the way, so you know.
Okay, well, I'm intrigued just by looking at this.
Yeah, the trouble, of course, is
Wild.
Windows 8's PDF viewer is hot garbage. Wow, it looks like. Oh, I can just scroll. Okay, it looks like a beautiful interface, though. Look at that.
It does actually.
Yeah.
I also love
gestures.
What doesn't work? Pressing too hard.
Wait, did it say that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's pressing too hard.
Pressing too hard. Coloring in the tap. Hovering too close to the screen after tapping. I've definitely never done any of those things on my touch screen devices.
Let me see. I just got a link here. Yep, that's the same file.
Well, just to recap for our audience, we've made it through 1 page of magazine, and you've already bought something on eBay.
Well, I'm progressing anyway. Yes, it would be great if you could support me on Patreon, because then I can afford to do stuff like just make eBay purchases while streaming. Okay, for what it's worth, I'm gonna have to investigate this later, but I strongly feel that this is not the. I don't think this is the PC version. Oh, but you know what? Wait, those are disk images. Oh shoot, maybe this is the PC version. Give me just a second. Obviously that's gonna fail. Give me a second. Let me grab this on my host system, because if this can run in an emulator, we're gonna emulate it right now. And we're gonna find it's not gonna work because we don't have a pen interface in like DOSBox or whatever. But
we can at least see if it works.
We can at least see will it boot. You know.
If you need me to fill time, I got Hot Wheels.
You know what? I need to grab a cold beer. So I'm gonna step away for a second and grab a cold beer. Tony, take it.
Works for me. Uh, hello. I'm supposed to be backup, but since we switched layouts, nice. But since Gravis is going to grab a beer and then attempt to run an operating system that neither of us have ever heard of, the one thing I can talk about while he's gone, since everybody seemed to like the K card discussion from last time, I decided, since I knew I'd be podcasting more, I would redo my office setup. So I don't know if anybody's a Hot Wheels enthusiast, but there's a bunch of good stuff behind me. I'm trying to think if I got anything good to share. I do have this. I was telling Gravis about it before the stream started, but I have found this at a garage sale a while ago. It's a Lincoln Continental from 1968. I have no idea about computers, so I really can't fill it. I'm a programmer as a day job, so I I know how to like write software for modern uses, but I have actually dabbled some in Fortran, not for fun, but for enterprise applications. And I did enough to know that I have a podcast and I do a lot of freelance writing, and I'd prefer to do that than write Fortran ever again. So that's the car thing. I actually do a bunch of car writing and stuff. At some point, I'm gonna actually drag Gravis onto either our Twitch or our YouTube, or just our website or something. And I want to talk about the formative experiences we've had with terrible old Hondas, because we both have done that. Like
Yes.
mine was a much more enjoyable experience, but I think Gravis has some very enjoyable stories from that like early 20s period of your life when nothing quite goes right and you drive a crappy 1980s rust bucket.
Correct. Yes. I could occupy this or any other stream for a solid hour just talking about that whole situation.
Somebody said another programmer that doesn't know computers. Yeah, I mean, I know how to do basic configuration and stuff. And my girlfriend's an engineer, so she taught me how to like build stuff, and she's been teaching me more about wiring and things like that, mostly for like an automotive application thing. But I got into it really late, and I didn't have like the family background with it, so it wasn't like I grew up online. I guess like I didn't really start programming until I was 16 or 17. I've always approached it more from like the career perspective than like a hobbyist one. So I did what I learned skills for the workforce. I learned skills for the workforce and then didn't really end up spending a bunch of time doing other stuff. Because like my hobbies are like, I prefer the physical stuff. I think you can see it. Yeah, there's my little diorama I'm building for Hot Wheels cars. Like, it's more physical. I enjoy the tactile aspect of it, and if I spend all day on computers at work, I don't necessarily work on them after. But I do find retro tech interesting, especially from like a Radwood perspective. If anybody's heard of that, Gravis, just tell me when you need to take it over too. By the way, but
I'm back.
Oh, cool.
No,
okay,
it's cool, but you know, you're still nobody in. For what it's worth, I opened up the Penpoint software, and it says power off. The README says it's for a 710T, which I think is the ThinkPad we were looking at. I think that's true. Was that was it, right? Yes. Let's look at the ThinkWiki. Yep, runs a 486. Okay, yeah. So this guy right here, that's the device that this software is intended for. So then I might be able to boot these disks. Let me just go ahead and spin up a DOS VM here real quick.
Okay, well, I can finish talking about the Rabbit stuff while you do that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. I just want to give everybody an update.
Somebody asked if I could program Canvas, and no. I've done the most automotive-related technology I've done is my girlfriend has a very tuned-up 2007 Honda Civic, and she's done Hondata, which is just the OBD2 tuning package that's sold for that. So I've like poked over. But that's mostly like the thing with that is like from a software perspective, it's very plug and play. It's just really the part you have to fiddle with and learn about more is like your air fuel ratios, your you know, how you want it to behave under wide open throttle or not, and you know, playing with like VTech engagement points, stuff like that. So it was more again from like the automotive side.
Okay.
But I do find RetroTech cool, so that's why I'm here.
So
somebody said they got to boot in VBucks.
Yep, I just did exactly the same thing. Turn your attention to
cool.
the stream. And Tony, I will change your. Actually, I don't know if I can. I can't change your video source. You will not be able to see it in real time.
I can see it on your YouTube channel though, so I'll just look over there for a minute and just give me a second to react.
It'll be more in a second. But
also,
anyway,
one sec. TRS-80 fan club said that they have a 53 Buick Special and a 48 Chevy Fleetmaster, which those are absolutely elite tier vehicles, and I must congratulate you, especially the Buick. I really want like an early 50s Buick so bad. They're so hard to find. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to make note of that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So this isn't going to work. It's not going to get any further than you're seeing right here. This is genuinely the software running. I just booted this off of a boot disk, but I can't make it go any further than this because I don't have the tablet for obvious reasons. I'm just going to check real quick and make sure that the mouse input is set to PS2. Yes, it is. You know, I'm sorry, pardon me. I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to hide that for a second. I'm going to shut this machine down and just check if I can change it to a serial mouse on the off chance that will work.
Ooh, somebody's got 54. Somebody's dad's got a 54 Eldorado as well. Race car spelled backwards. Yeah, I was actually looking recently. Currently, I have a bunch of old Hondas, and I was looking recently for I was trying to see if I could pick up. It was a '66 Cadillac Eldorado sedan, but it was in really bad shape. So I passed on it for now because I don't really have the space for a car that long. It won't actually fit in my garage, and because they're just huge. But I tend to go for more like the 80s stuff. Part of the thing that like drew me into retro computing and stuff was that there's a what I wanted to say earlier is like a car show called Radwood, and it's all 80s and 90s cars. But people tend to bring 80s and 90s accoutrement with their cars, and like I grew up, you know, I was born in '95, so I missed out on a lot of this stuff. But it's an interesting era of tech because you get things like the 710T, which is I don't know why anybody made it. I don't know why anybody was asking for it, and who's going to send a fax on the beach. But it's like that. Oh, I'm sorry, Gravis. I didn't mean to take over.
No. Do you see the layout that I created for your purposes? Shut up. Keep talking.
I was going to say, I do really like the idea that there's all of these abandoned paths that like computing actually explored, and the same thing goes for like automotive industries and stuff. Like people were playing around with turbos well before they could make them reliable or anything. So you have like Dodge Rampages and, you know, all of these weird offshoot cars. They're just sort of throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. And you get the same thing with this computing stuff. You had like, I think it said that this competed with the Newton, right?
It sounds likely, yeah. I think
it came out around the same time though, right? It was like the early. That's the one that I know from this era.
Well, I think the Newton was early. I thought the Newton was earlier.
It might have been. That's the
this
only
was 93.
Okay.
Nope, 93.
Okay.
They started working on it in 87. Took them 6 years? Took them a long time.
So I can just imagine like somebody being like, "Oh, Apple's coming out with this new touchpad device, and we gotta figure out how to one up." And they're like, "Fax. That's how we're gonna do it." And it just like, and of course nobody remembers. I mean, the Newton I only know because I read about Steve Jobs, and it was like, yeah, this like is part of why he got kicked out of his own company. I'm pretty sure, because it was such a flop. But it's so cool to look at these like, it's like all these little Galapagos-esque weird dead ends of technological evolution.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now I'll tell you something else. Fine. It's fine. It was perfectly fine, especially because I went over to eBay and I searched for a ThinkPad 710T. There's one on there, and it's the same seller. Now, they're both coming from Normal, Illinois. That's the name of the town. The town's called Normal. And my theory is that a collector either got married, gave up, or died, which is usually why you see a whole bunch of similar stuff show up at someplace for the same price. But this one has power supply, has the pen, no hard drive, but that's easy to fix, I'm sure. And current bid, $5, one bid, ruh-roh. Someone's going to fight me tooth and claw for this thing.
Yeah.
$35. Hey, you know what? Current bid, $4.99. place bid $10. So congratulations, we made it 1 page and 2 eBay purchases. What are you people doing to me?
And you had to make an entirely new stream layout for me. So this is definitely
things are going great.
This has definitely gone more intensely than the last time. I don't know if that's better or worse.
It's better. This whips ass. All right, so we have now. Oh, you know what? I didn't even look up the personal communicator 440. Let's just pop back over to eBay.
Let's go for it. You're on a roll. I mean,
we might as well spend the whole night. Let's just CRD goes to eBay. Woo! Zowie! That's the sort of numbers I was expecting. Wow, it's in. Well, I was gonna say it was in great condition. It looks a little nicked up, but it's the AT&T branded. Oh, a nice cursed power supply. You get 2. Yeah, hot grand for this thing.
Travis, they can't see the. I forgot. They can't see the screen.
Whoopsie.
Well, pull it up, and then once they see the price, they'll get it.
Yeah. I hecked up. Yeah, there it is, folks.
Oh, hello, Aeropunks.
There it is, folks. There it is. There's that good number. Yowza. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, Grace, the other devices I was looking at were shipping for $50 and $35, and those prices are still killer for what they are. I mean, if I won them both, I'd be $100, less than $100.
Can you make an offer of like $30?
I didn't make that much on it, but yeah, if people from stream might be bidding on it, if you are, look, you know, at least let me borrow it so I can make a video, okay? That's all I ask. All right, so let's move on here a little bit. Oh, this is delicious, actually. This immediately gets better. Okay, let's just roll through this. So it's mixed voltage. It runs on Go Pen Point. Comes with a bunch of applications in ROM. Pen interface, reflective LCD. Okay. It'll take a PS2 keyboard. Good. It has parallel and serial ports. Dope. Has built-in mic and speaker. Interesting. But then you can add on a V32-biz fax modem. Okay. Cellular telephone handset. So that's what it is. It's a portable phone, but it's cellular backed. So it's just like those Western Electric handsets you could buy that plug into your cell phones. It looks like you're on a Anyway, but then it'll take a Hewlett Packard Kitty Hawk 1.3-inch 20 meg hard drive. Let's see that. What is a Kitty Hawk?
Why is it?
That's a code name. Ooh, small, not big. Plugging cable onto the drive incorrectly will render the device useless and is not covered by any warranty whatsoever. Wow, this is a strongly stated command they're making here.
That is.
I don't think that's SCSI. I think that's 40 pin. Hey, Natalie, welcome. But what I love about this is, if you're familiar with the original microdrive, which I think was an IBM product.
I'm not.
Well, now you are. Yeah. So this is a microdrive, except this is a CF card. You can put this inside of your camera, and it's a spinning hard disk.
Wow. Oh my God, that image of the person holding it in their hand.
Yep, there you go. It's like I said, it's a CF card. It's literally a CF card. It's literally I'm not overstating this. It is specifically a CF card. It's exactly a CF card. There's no joke. It's not the size of a CF card. It's not like a CF card. It is literally verbatim a CF card. You can put it into any CF device that has the vertical space. Anyway,
I don't like that.
That's fair. You don't have
wrong.
to. But they at least have the decency to make them look unique, whereas the Kitty Hawk just looks like a hard drive that's been rotated 90 degrees. So it's a transverse mount hard drive. All right. We've spent so long on this. By the way, I'm sorry. That's the 440. That's the smaller one. There's a bigger one. It's 4 pounds. Runs on 5 volts and has a VGA port. Oh, that whips. You get a 64 meg hard drive. Outstanding. Oh, this a communications-oriented sub-notebook is what they're calling this. But then they say that competitors might be General Magic and Hewlett Packard. I'm sorry. General Magic.
You're in a Google mood tonight.
Forbes described General Magic as the most important dead company in Silicon Valley. Oh, they had a movie.
Huh.
Oh, I don't care anymore. Oh, Oh, right. These were expats from Macintosh. Never mind.
Okay.
Don't care. All
That's not
right.
obscure enough.
We did actually get this far last time, but we petered out.
Yeah, we skipped that.
I think
that
we might. I think.
Yeah, we talked about the little graph showing all the emails going
Yeah,
up, but
we
I don't think we
did. But I
covered
think
that
this is
cool communicator
about.
and stuff.
Yeah, I think this is about where we. Oh no, we got to Visio. We got to the video stuff. Oh, by the way, everyone, let me just go ahead and one moment.
Well, somebody asked if Tony has a channel. I have a Twitch channel, which is Aerodeck Tony, which I can write out here real quick. And I have a website that I write automotive content for. There's the Twitch. Let me grab my website, and I write here. I've also written freelance at like Jalopnik. I've written freelance. Should have some other articles actually coming out soon. Jalopnik was like the one big one. I've got a couple other places, but that's where I put all my writing usually is Trust in the Machine.
Okay, folks.
So.
Okay, folks. I'm about to do some prestige streaming here. So give me a sec. Let me pop over to. Let me just do.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it.
Do the 2 up. Yeah, I'll do the 2 up. I'll leave Tony on screen. All right. So this here is a Dell Latitude D420. This is a little sub notebook. It is it's maybe hard to tell, but it's a little tiny computer. I think it's 12-inch, 13-inch, something like that. And this has a Core Duo processor in it. So we're going to light this guy up. I'm going to go into the BIOS here, and I'm just going to nail it. Just going to nail it down. Processor info. Core Duo processor, 1.2 gigahertz. A nice zip quick computer with what do we have for memory? 1.5 gigs. We got an 80 gig hard drive, Intel 945 GMS graphics. So this is a computer from like 2009, something like. No, that's too late. 2006.
No, this would be a really bad computer in 2009.
Yeah. This is from like 2006, 2005, something like that. All right, let's go ahead and boot this computer.
Why are we booting this? Is this something that okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know if I was supposed to know.
Nope,
because
you're not
I'm
supposed
like,
to know.
I'm just like, what's going on? I didn't know if I was supposed to be like, oh, everybody in your audience is like, oh my god, and I'm just sitting here like, what? It's like there was a car I saw recently that I should be reviewing soon. I pray to God, but it was like it's a Honda Civic. It's like a 1986 Honda Civic, and it was like completely unremarkable, except it had like a body kit on it or whatever. And then you go to the trunk and open it, and there's a V6 inside in the trunk of this Honda Civic.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and it's one of those things where it's like, I guess if you didn't know like Hondas all that well, you would be like, yeah, it's a car with an engine. But if you know what you're looking at, you're like, what the absolute hell is going on here? Oh, we lost the webcam. Oh, there we go.
Nope, there it is. So that's Windows 3.1. And
it's very bright, just so you know.
Yeah,
okay, there we go.
It's better now. So this is.
I see it. Sorry, I'm on a delay.
This is Windows 3.1, which is from about 1990 or thereabouts, 91, and it still runs on a computer from 2005, as it turns out. So like nearly 20 years later, it still runs natively. I'm not doing any tricks. There's nothing wacky going on here. And this is Adobe Premiere. This is the like 1993 edition of the same software I use to edit my videos now. And let me see if I can pull up. There should be a sample pack here. Here we go.
This is some Premiere Amateur, but it's pretty damn cool.
Yep, sample.p project. Yep, and then we can just let me find my preview window here. Yeah, this was something I set up the other day. This is booting off a USB drive. There's enough legacy support on this machine that it's able to run 16-bit software natively with no problems. And so yeah, here I am just doing like some video editing and title generation here on Windows 3.1 on a completely inappropriate machine. I'm just unnaturally pleased with this thing. I love it so much. I didn't think it was going to work. Oh, hey everyone, guess who's here? And he's not helping.
I can't. Oh. There he is. Okay.
There he is.
I was on a delay and I was like, what's going on?
Folks.
And then, yeah, now I see.
Yep, he's here. Anyway, yeah, so
That's him, all right. He's here.
see,
Oh, he's very here.
this has taken much longer than expected, so here's some more of him. If the dang thing will focus. Come on.
It's because he absorbs all light.
He does.
It's like it's like trying to image a black hole.
That's true.
It's
actually
very difficult. You have to just get the computer monitors like refracting their light around him, and then you can see him. He is so fuzzy.
Bites. The answer is supposedly as late as Ivy Lake, or maybe Haswell. It might be Haswell. But I have a Ivy Lake machine here, and it won't do it. So I apparently been misinformed on that point. So anyway, yeah, that's my prestige BS for this episode.
That is your object of honor.
Yeah.
So the question is, can we get WinFax Pro 3.0 to run on this machine?
Yes.
Cool.
Actually, this machine has a modem.
Oh my god.
So I have actually used this machine to send faxes before. But yeah, to me, like I love that this works. I love that it's self-contained and portable. I can have Windows 3.1 wherever I want, no problem. I love that. I also love that it's on a USB drive. I didn't just get it onto the hard drive in this thing. It's actually on a USB drive. So going forward, any machine I have that is the least bit older, I'm going to try to launch Adobe Premiere on Windows 3.1. Now, give me a second.
That can be your benchmark.
Yeah, that'll be my standard benchmark for a machine. Is can it run Premiere 3.0? Pardon me.
Good.
All right. Let me close my webcam details here. Let us try, for the love of God, to read this magazine. Someday we'll read this magazine.
This is about faxing.
We're right back to fax, aren't we? Right. That's what brought up WinFax 3.0.
Yes, that's why I figured you brought that out, is because I was like,
no, it actually was because of this section here, because this is the software that came after the video for Windows. Come on, Gibbs. This is the software that leveraged video for Windows. It was also on the Mac, obviously, but
Yes, I remember we discussed this briefly, and this is a very cool.
It just basically, the last time we did this, I thought to myself, I really want to get a video editing setup going on a Windows 3 machine, and there, I did it.
Oh, that's powerful, honestly.
It's very powerful, yeah. Okay, so we have an ad for a modem, and, well, let's just dig into that a little bit. Sorry, Gibbs, we're streaming. Gibbs, I'm at work. No. Okay. He's a good cat. He refuses to get down. He will only go up. Anyway, let's talk about this a little bit. So there's a whole thing about Visual Basic, which I'm not going to get into because Visual Basic is self-explanatory. It's still around, for Christ's sake. This is the thing about a 14.4 fax modem. Let's see if there's anything interesting going on here. Okay, so in 1993, this is a fascinating thing to me. In 1993, this modem advertises that it works with IBM PC, AT, XT, and Macintosh. Now, the XT came out in 82, 83. This is saying that it's compatible with a machine from 12 years before this was released, which had been superseded generationally 5 times. So 8086, 286, 386, 486, Pentium. All of those CPUs had come out, and they're still going, no, it's okay, it'll work with your XT. This is sort of the a thing that happened with the IBM PC. God, this is one of my favorite facts about the history of computers. Imagine, I'm trying to come up with a sort of a comparison here. Sorry, somebody messaged me. Okay.
No, it's okay. I would try to help you out with this comparison, but I'm not sure where it's going.
No, it's okay. I'll pick it up.
Okay.
So, imagine if in 1981 Ford produced an inline 4 2.0, and then they were still using it in all the manufacturers' cars in 1993.
Well,
all manufacturers, not just Ford.
I mean,
like Chevy,
Mercedes-Benz.
Chevy comes out with a car, and you're like, okay, but it is a Ford i420, right? And they're like, well, yes. And you're like, so you said it was a new car, but it is a car with an engine, so 95% of its functionality that I could have bought in 1982. Yes. But now, so when that original machine came out, the IBM PC XT, the way to put it is that computers had long wanted unification. They had desired for unification for a very long time already, even by the early 80s when the IBM PC came out. 81, the IBM PC came out. Prior to that, however, the most commonly accessible compatible microcomputer were the S100 bus systems, and they were compatible enough, but they sucked pretty bad. And then the IBM PC came out. Sorry, in this time period, there were like a bunch of incompatible computers out there. People had all sorts of small computers at home and at businesses, mostly at businesses, that were incompatible.
This is partially still like the hobbyist era too, right? Where it would be like, we were sort of touched on this, where it was like, here, mail into here, and we'll send you, whatever software. But people were doing that for entire PCs before that point, right? So it was just sort of like the whole Apple built in the garage thing was actually kind of like how everything was sort of at this point still, if I'm understanding the era correctly. It wasn't quite
I would say not quite. You're about 6 years past where that like total frontier time was.
Okay.
Once the Apple II came out, like that was dead and gone. The Apple II came out in, somebody check my knowledge here, 76, I believe. I want to say 76. Might have been 77. So by 81, people did have a massively compatible computer system, but this is not true, but it is true enough. If you had an Apple II compatible system, you had an Apple II. An Apple brand II. If you had an Apple II, that's what you had. There were a couple exceptions, but by and large, you had an actual on-brand Apple. Then there were the S100 bus systems, where they had compatibility, but I don't know that compatibility was guaranteed or predictable, and they were also just kind of crappy and not very fun to work with. Then the IBM PC comes out. It gets cloned the same year it comes out, or maybe like shortly into 82. And by the end of 82, you can buy like 50 or 100 different manufacturers making their own boards that are all IBM PC compatible.
Okay.
It was fast. And so...
And I'm curious, and maybe this isn't the place for it, but
no, go ahead.
Was there a reason that this one was the one that became
There were tons of reasons. There were tons of reasons, and you're right, this isn't the place to go into the whole story.
But it was good, is what we're getting at here, right?
Yes. To put it simply, the IBM PC was built like a brick shit house. It was fast for the time. It was unbelievably capable for the time, and it was brilliantly designed. And a lot of people downplay that. But the IBM PC was an engineering marvel. And yes, there it is. NJ Roadfan has it. IBM built the entire machine using off-the-shelf parts, which was not true for virtually any other microcomputer on the market. Which meant if you wanted to clone a Apple II, I believe you had to clone the I want to say you had to clone the integrated WAS machine, which was the unique chip they used for their floppy drive controller, but I might be thinking of a different machine. If you wanted to clone a Commodore 64, when those came out, that was later in the 80s. But if you wanted to do that, for instance, you had to clone their custom hardware that they designed, and so on for a lot of the computers throughout the 80s, including the Macintosh. Like, they all had application-specific custom ICs in them. The IBM PC contained nothing that was not widely available. You could purchase every single part from Intel or like one or two other companies.
So that makes sense then for why that one was like...
It was a big deal, and the reason it didn't happen, for instance, with the TRS-80, which had predated the IBM PCs, the TRS-80 was horrible and was not worth cloning for the most part. Pardon me. They did use largely Jelly Bean parts, but I think that you wouldn't have made enough money on cloning it. The thing is that the IBM PC was actually quite expensive, and that was a big deal. I don't quote me on this. This is off the cuff, but I believe that the IBM PC outstripped the Apple II in terms of cost by like not an order of magnitude, but it was considerably more expensive. It targeted a much higher price point, and consequently, they made it more of a jewelry computer compared to the Apple II, which was sort of a basic, like, get you going. It was reliable, it was simple, but it was simple, and it was, reliable is the best thing you could say about it. The Apple
Yeah.
II was not that brilliant a computer that people would make it out to be compared to the PC, which did a lot of very clever stuff with the hardware that it had. So the PC was more expensive, but the difference is you got every single cent of value out of it. Every single penny you put into a PC, you earned back.
It's like a 70s Civic versus a W123. That's the good comparison here that I would like, because like I owned one of those old Mercedes Benzes and used to buy like it was the IBM of cars.
Yep.
It's like every single piece in it is going to work until you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of the reason that they continued using it then, is like, I imagine that by 92 the cost had dropped significantly, but everybody was still like, well, we know it. It's familiar. It's cheaper. I can't imagine the price came down. I know that it didn't come down as fast.
Well,
as nowadays,
so here's what happened. Thank you, Jay. Jeff Rosenstock is getting me stoked. So the original IBM PC was, don't quote me, let's say $1,500, $1,800 base. Then it got cloned, and the clones dropped the price like a hot rock. And so IBM PC became IBM PC compatible. And then the XT came out, which was almost exactly the same machine, but it was known as a standard for. It became a metonym for PC compatible.
Okay.
And the thing is that this is what I was getting at. In 81, you buy an IBM PC and it has an 8088 Intel 8088 CPU in it, and tops 640K of memory. Then in 84, you can buy for the first time a 286, and IBM will sell you an AT that has a 286, and it has, and don't quote me on this either, but a couple megabytes of memory.
Okay.
And then in 80, I want to say 86, 87, you can buy a 386, and it is these are much, much faster processors, okay? Much faster. And then by the end of the 80s, you could buy the 486. Much, much faster. Lots more memory, more capabilities. And in 1988, people were still buying 1981 spec PCs with the original 8088 chip in them.
So this isn't just, they're not saying, oh, you can buy it for XT because they're like, well, somebody might have a dusty old machine sitting around there.
They were still buying them new.
Buying them. Okay, that's
Yep, they're still buying them new because what it comes down to is this. Suppose I write a program that is for suppose I write a program that you use in your business. I'm sorry, everyone. Yes, there's a kitty here. You'll see him in a bit up close. Suppose that I write a program for your business that uses the IBM PC as its platform, and it is for calculating how many oranges you need to buy. I don't know, a line of business application. Okay, I make you this line of business application. This is a very specific thing that you like and you're very satisfied with. By 1990, that program still works. It still does what you want.
Okay.
If you upgrade to a newer machine, weird stuff might happen. It might be incompatible. Mostly you just don't need it. What do you need it for? Like, why do you need to get a faster computer? What's the point? If you're crunching data, sure. And at the point that's being made in chat here by a number of people, and you're totally right, is that the 8088, while it was later made obsolete by the 286, the 386, the 486, and the Pentium, which had extended capabilities, NEC made a huge ruckus in the 80s by releasing a chip that was 100% compatible with the 8088 but ran multiple times faster. So you could have a machine that was XT compatible, but it actually didn't have the same CPU, so it ran considerably quicker. So your programs would run quicker, but for all intents and purposes, all software that would run on XT was guaranteed to run on this. So your choice was between spending $1,800 on a 386 in like 1987 or spending $600 on a PC XT that runs all the software you need. And it was a really...
And the other thing, too, that I'm thinking of as well, like, I didn't really realize that, like, oh, somebody wrote me this software that, calculates widgets in 1984, and I still need to calculate widgets in 1991, and upgrading means it will break this. And because, like, nowadays, I mean, it's a different different mindset kind of thing. But that's a good point. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess you could still use your data port 14.4 fax modem with your XT as well.
And don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Like, absolutely, people still had XTs hanging around. Sorry, he just started rabbit kicking me, so I figured I would tilt the webcam down here, but he decided to calm down and stop being a vicious predator. Anyway, it is absolutely true that in 1990, you might actually want to buy a faster, better, or at least newer modem for the same machine that you had sitting around. Because yes, a machine you bought in 82 was still a perfectly good machine in 1990 for that purpose, because it was built like a brick shithouse. They were very tough machines, very durable, and most of the ones I've encountered all the ones I've encountered still work. What am I saying? I've never seen a dead one. So
then I stand by my Mercedes-Benz comparison, because that's
legitimate.
That's the same thing with those. You literally cannot kill them. They will run on literally vegetable oil with minor conversions.
Remarkable stuff. So yeah, I think this is.
I think the rest of the page is nowhere near as cool as that, honestly.
Yeah, we got what we wanted. We spent.
It's very weird. Do you mind if I go get myself a drink real quick, and I'll be right back?
Go right ahead. Actually,
discover.
We'll both go do that real quick.
I can stay and chat, because I did actually see somebody mention that they had read my stuff on.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, well you do that. I'll be right back, and then we'll musical chairs.
Okay, that sounds good. You can bring me back up.
So
whenever.
I'll put you back on the screen.
All right, cool. Let's see. Somebody, it was a while back in here, because we were talking about that for quite a bit there. But anyway, yeah, I did actually have a period where I wrote Weekends on Jalopnik, and I probably have a couple articles on there in the next year. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm I'm a little bit younger than Gravis, and so I just never saw any of this stuff. I don't know anybody who's into it locally, because Gravis and I aren't local to each other, and we wouldn't have discussed this before, like when travel was doable. So I never got to like check out his collection or anything. So obviously now I'm curious, and I'm actually I'm hoping he can help me get some old video gear for some projects that I'm working on. And if we can edit it in, edit it in Windows 3.1 in Adobe Premiere, whatever version that was, that'd be super cool. It'd be very on brand for the kind of stuff I'm thinking of. Oh, thank you. It's like this little corset thing that I got. It's just, I could shop at a bunch of Lolita shops, and I always try to dress up nice for stream, just because I don't really get an excuse to anymore, so it feels like a good chance to look nice. Oh, thank you. And it was originally like a brighter pink, and then it just kind of faded out. But yes, I'm hoping. Gravis, actually, I think I hear you.
I am back.
Okay, I was telling your chat actually while you were gone that I've never had a chance to check out your stuff in person, but I'm hoping now that you've shown me. So I had this project rattling around in the back of my brain for a bit, where I wanted to do some retro car footage on an old video camera with some of the stuff that you've discussed, and if we could edit it in
1990 Adobe Premiere.
1990 Adobe Premiere, that would be super cool. Like, I gotta imagine it's gonna have, it's very rudimentary or whatever, but that might be a cool. We might be able to get some cool things out of that. I would be curious to play around with that more.
Yeah, so, absolutely. It's doable. So.
Yeah. Also, just to your point, yeah. Natalie, I have not had an excuse to dress up other than this stream, and I have not dressed up for work since March, because I do programs, so I do that remotely now. But I'll be right back. You can musical chairs me, and I'll be back in 1 second. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So, what was I going to address? I actually, my girlfriend made a great dinner, delicious dinner, and then it just didn't quite have as much salt as I would have liked, and I was just fiending for salt. So I just ran upstairs and ate Cheetos as fast as I've ever eaten them. I've never blown through a handful of Cheetos at that kind of pace before. So, you know what? I think Gibbs wants out. Let me see. Yes, he is hanging out here at the door. Anyway, okay, Borland Pascal 7.0, fast, complete. Little, yellow, different. Once again, I love every time that I pull up one of these magazine ads for anytime I pull up a magazine ad in a magazine of this era, it's always like Borland International, 1800 Green Hills Road, P.O. Box whatever. It has the address so that if you want Borland Pascal 7, you know, from this little outfit in Scotts Valley, California that I've heard of, you can send away and have them send you a copy of it, which I guess people must have done. You know, they had an 800 number, you know, etc. But it's always so strange to me because it just comes off as like you don't call Microsoft and ask for Visual Basic, you know, like you go to a store. But things were different at this time, and a lot of stuff they just didn't have a channel like that. Anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but Tony, well,
yes,
I don't know how many programming languages you've really ever worked with or even heard of, because you mostly do C#, right?
Yes.
And not a whole lot else?
I do like other things related to C#, and like I said before, I'm doing Fortran now, and I've done Java, and mostly object-oriented stuff is what I'm like.
Right.
I don't end up like more modern things, I guess I would say.
But I assume that Pascal does not hit you.
Pascal is I've heard it and never used it. I do know Visual Basic a little bit.
I'm going to say something very, very rude,
yes.
in a sense. And everyone in the chat is going to... we're going to have a reaction video here real quick. Pascal was the Python of the 80s. That's my opinion of it. My opinion is that Pascal was like all of the... It's not as dumb as Basic. It's not as... But it also is not like... It's not like C, which will let you cut your foot off and shoot yourself in the foot after you cut it off. But you won't find out until you've been walking for 10 miles, and all of a sudden your foot just explodes like Gary's Mod. Like, I think that Pascal was so much smarter than the other languages that I messed around with back in the early 2000s when I was sort of trying to learn to program, a thing that has not gone well and that I've largely given up on. But it just felt like it was so much more rational, you know, that it wasn't like Basic, which was like, oh, you're writing a program for a computer from the 60s, I should say.
Well,
and it wasn't.
No, Basic's nicer than that. I mean, yes, but like,
sorry,
go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hang on. Whoa, it is now.
Okay, that's true.
Because I have like 10,000 words written about how 80s Basic was hell on earth.
That I believe. That I believe.
Anyway, so Pascal is interesting, but there's not much to talk about here. So, in a recent independent study, 7 out of 10 Fastback users prefer central point backpack. I messed that up. But anyway,
okay.
Backup software. Oh, this is great. Fastback was great in its day, but now there's something better. Ooh, vicious.
That's mean.
Yeah, that's real mean.
That's like there was actually. That's a direct call out. I can't remember recent advertising.
They don't do that anymore.
Recent advertising being that
they
much
don't
of a call
do that
out.
anymore. They used to do that. Now I don't know whether I don't think Fastback was made by Central Point. I think Fastback was somebody else's product.
I mean, they are absolutely trashing Fastback. So if they did make it, then they're fully admitting that they're like, our previous software that sucked.
Well, but that does happen. Is the thing.
Yeah, but like they're not even like we tried our best. They're like whoever wrote this should. Hey, cool. Can we talk about this first episode?
No.
Oh man.
No. Okay. Fastback was originally written by Fifth Generation Systems, a company located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's about right. I feel like an enormous amount of computer software used to come from like not the coasts, and particularly not California. And then in like the mid 90s, it pivoted just like that. So anyway, what I was going to say is it was a thing that companies would produce a program that was so successful that they would end up like, it's basically like, they come into the room and like, hey guys, everyone's like, yeah, you're the guys that made Fastback. They're like, haha, yeah, we did, but we have new stuff now. And they're like, kind of quietly like, please stop using it. We don't make any money on it anymore. You are trading discs around. Buy the new thing, you bastards. And
so that's
I thought
how we ended
that
up.
might be what this is, but that's not what this is.
Okay.
Uh,
So, I mean, nowadays, of course, you don't have to worry about that because everybody uses the Adobe model. Wow, that is a wild image to flip the page to.
Yeah, it just went right into it, didn't it?
We're just going.
But see, it's a bit. Project plan, project in progress. See, it's a bit. It's a bit.
It's a bit.
It's a bit. You see? You see? Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you
I get it.
Because we've all been in this room before. Anyway,
no, I would be falling out of the boat and drowning.
Is the boat even moving? It? Wait, no, you'd be standing on the shore and the boat's just like floating over there, being eaten by the water. Based on what you've told me about your recent job experiences. Hey, Stumble.
That's probably fair, actually.
Anyway, but hey, hold up though. This is interesting. Let's talk about this for a moment because there's no screenshots here, so you wouldn't immediately realize what it is. This is a Kanban from 1993. This is. They didn't exist yet. Those didn't exist yet. But Primavera is fully multi-user. Software to keep your crew in sync, even in the roughest waters. All members of your team can work on any parts of the same project or group of projects simultaneously. Primavera Project Planner. Primavera Project Planner. What?
Yes, boss.
Oh, man. This is... Oh, yes.
No. Oh, my God.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Give me those...
Okay.
Somebody help me out here. What's the name of this thing? It's like it's not like, it's like a waterfall graph or something.
No, this is like... Is it like Agile, supposedly? Like some early Agile thing? I don't know what this
Agile
is.
hadn't been invented yet, I don't believe.
Which is crazy, because I've never used Agile working, so...
Is this on WinWorld?
Imagining what came before it is just...
It's not on WinWorld. Nobody has it yet.
Oldest software you still use, link to. It looks like it says there's a download link there on WinWorld PC.
No, that's a different program. Because they're talking. This is
okay.
like oldest software, yeah. So, people are talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, there's still programs that look exactly like this. Gantt chart. It's a 1993 Gantt chart.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
That's.
Thanks, everyone. Together we were able to. And it looks like they kept on making it too, because this looks like a much newer version of it, and there's like Windows Vista screenshots here and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, I would love to take a look at that, but nobody has it yet. Somebody said interesting software on eBay, so let's just see. Primavera Planner.
See, this is. Oh wow, that's pretty actually.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
I'll wear that to the next one.
So here's Primavera's PM6 or P6. That's the later one. Here's Primavera SureTrack. Ooh, look at the maximum over business just emanating from this thing.
It looks like a high school textbook.
Woo-hoo! Wow. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. That is tasty.
Oh God. It's always it doesn't look that much better now, honestly.
Oh, hang on. Look at this. Look at where this stuff is made. Bala Sinwood. It's like Welsh.
Well, it's probably I don't know. There's a bunch of places.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania was originally founded by Quakers. I don't know where they.
You know what's wild though? This is from 2000. This is from 2000, and it looks like this. That doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't quite scan. But anyway, somebody wants $250 for that. Yeah, bastards.
It makes sense. The new ones are expensive.
Oh my God, Oracle acquired it. Oh, that makes so much sense. Someone had just said that this reeks of Oracle. And here it is. Oracle bought them. Oh my God, there's no better end to this story that could possibly have happened. We're ready to move on. Perfect.
Honestly, yes. You are correct.
Okay, let's get into this. This next page here. Let's get hyped for this next page. I'll read some donations. SOS for networks. LAN information on CD-ROM. What could that mean? Okay. Holy crap. This is a CD you can buy that just has the manuals for a bunch of stuff, and it's $1,500. Or you can pay $5,000 for a site license.
$5,000 for a 5-user network license. So
yes.
So does the user versus what was the term they used earlier? Does that distinction come into play here?
I'm sorry.
We discussed this earlier when we were talking about it was like $5,000 for
seats.
5.
We're talking about seats.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is a seat. If a seat is basically a person who is actively laying hands on the product at a moment,
gotcha.
Right? So you sell seats in voice over IP, for instance, because you can have a certain number of calls, but that is distinct from a certain number of seats. because a seat has associated user information and so on, and also has a call license associated with it, whereas just a call might be something that can only be used by a certain number of seats, but multiply at a time. It's complicated.
Okay.
I won't get
to
into
be
that.
fair,
It smells
basically,
like
yeah, it is. From what I scanned through really fast, it is groupware. And what I will say is that if this were a pre-Google era, and somebody was like, for $1,500, you can have all of Stack Overflow locally, I would be like, deal.
Okay, that's fair actually, because they are saying you can do like full text search, NetWare and attach and printer and queue. All right, you got me. That whips. That whips.
Yeah, like I mean, on the face of it, it's like $1,500.
Oh man,
like,
actually, no, yeah, this is Stack Exchange.
Yeah, and I would pay $1,500 to have that on my PC if that was the only way I could have it on my PC.
Tony,
it's not like I'm going to get to write anything otherwise.
Tony, you completely dismantled my theory. Incredible work. You just turned this thing into super cool. That's why Tony's here. That's why Tony's here. See, if it was just me, what stupid crap would I be saying right now? My whole ass would be on display. And this is YouTube. You can't do that on here. That's for OnlyFans.
No, that's for Twitch.
Hey-o! All right. This is some ads for some Autodesk stuff, which I'm actually going to skip over because that's never really changed. It's just vector art software. Here's another ad for another computer. It's got nothing special going on.
I miss that style of advertisement imaging, though.
Yeah, this is big, right? Actually, Tony, if we could reverse engineer this, I would love to do some shoots like this.
Oh, I could probably. The main thing there that would be interesting is just trying to figure out what they placed it on. Because I'm assuming it's like a physical object.
It's got to be green. I think it's got to be green screened. Oh no, you're right. Actually, maybe the background is just a printed backdrop, and then it's on like chicken wire that's been bent over a surface.
Oh, that's possible, actually. Yeah.
So I guess and then colored lighting.
As far as like the lighting situation, I could probably figure that out.
I'm thinking like I would do this. I would actually do this with like. I could picture doing this either with about 4 hot lights or 3 flashes.
I bet you I can do it in 2.
I believe you. no debate. All right, that's just the Zeos ad. There's your Zeos tower. Reaver Cruiser screen doubles as LCD projection panel. Let's talk about computers now. Shrimp heaven now. Oh wow, actually. Oh, okay, this is same-day computer shipping. Order by 1 o'clock, will ship today. Okay, that makes sense. A 486 DX2 maxed out $3,200 in 1993. Okay, that scans. We can ship your choice of these hot new Zeos 486s today. Anyway, though, but we're not here for computers now because this is computers then. Let's go look at what was happening then. So,
oh my God.
Oh gosh. So this is. I'm liking this. So this was a thing that happened a few times. I think IBM made a ThinkPad that could do this. Basically, you take the monitor off your laptop, you flip the back of it off, and it becomes a translucent screen. You take the reflector off of it, and now it's translucent, and you lay it down on an overhead projector.
Okay, 2 things from reading through the first 3 paragraphs. It costs $6,500. In the year 2021, I don't go to work anymore, but when I go to get groceries or whatever, I'd have a car that costs a third of that to go shopping. In our money today.
In our money, yep.
In our money today.
Okay.
So that's 1. Number 2 is active matrix color display manufactured by Sharp, 256 colors at 640 by 480, 30 millisecond response rate. The screen is lit from underneath. So you're telling me this is a glorified Game Boy? Where they had like the little... You had to use like.
Oh no!
What was the first Game Boy that when it had the like light underneath that shone?
The GBA SP.
Yeah.
But that's how all LCDs work. That's how all LCDs work. Every LCD has lights arranged around the edge, and they shine up into a reflector.
What I'm thinking of specifically then is whichever one was there's an old video game add-on where it puts like a headlight.
You're talking
about
shining from the front. That is a reflective type LCD. This is a transmissive type LCD.
My mistake. Okay. I was hoping that it was like a child's toy.
A bunch of people asking in chat, but I imagine you do know what an overhead projector is.
Me, yes, yeah, I do.
Okay, all right.
I was homeschooled, but I have actually seen them.
Okay. The thing. So here's what I want to say. This is what really gets to me. It's a color display. Okay. And that means that that means there's dyes, like there's color pigments in the screen. And what do we know about color pigments? They are light sensitive. They fade. Okay? So if you take this monitor and put it on an overhead projector, which has like a 100-watt bulb that's being concentrated all onto the screen, that's hot, it's gonna bake your dyes. It's gonna bake your color filter and make it fade. So I wonder how many of these are out there that have like they're like completely gray in the middle and then like get some color fringing vignetting out at the edges. It must be intense. And yeah, I think you're right. I think it would just generally have a deleterious effect on the monitor. Yes, color and active matrix in 93 is pretty impressive, but for $6,000, for $6,500, oh, I believe it. They had it. I've got machines, or I've had machines of that era, with beautiful displays that almost look modern, and you paid out the ass.
Yeah, just like that is an absolutely absurd amount of money.
Gosh.
It does actually say, so scroll down real quick. I'm going to read the bottom of this.
There we go.
As a projection system, it has a cooling fan. That's how they solve your problem.
That makes sense. Yeah, it must have like a fan that blows out around the edges of the screen, so that would help. Also, TRS-80, yeah, the HP LaserJet 2. I remember doing exactly that. I remember printing transparencies for use on a projector on my LaserJet 2 specifically because I had a time-shifted childhood. I'm considerably younger than you, I'm pretty sure, but I just had a lot of wild, like weird, anachronistic experiences as a kid. So my family had a HP LaserJet 2 in like 1999, which was late for that thing. And it was the worst laser printer I've ever used. It took 5 cold minutes to print a page. It was horrible. And it broke and jammed all the time. And it was huge and heavy. I later got a LaserJet 5, and I would take a bullet for that printer, which is, I wouldn't need to because it can take a bullet for you. My LaserJet 5, just to be clear here, my LaserJet 5 was also this tall. And I had that in my apartment because I was a normal 20-something. So, anyway.
Yeah, I know something about being a normal 20-something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about this. Images on the display are relatively bright. Colors are deeply and evenly saturated. Text and graphics are sharp and clear. You can adjust the screen to a full 180 degrees, which I think they're talking about I think they're talking about the pitch of the crystal. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so you pop the display off and taking the panel off, removing the back, and hooking up the cable and the cooling fan takes less than a minute. Cool. The display connection is much stronger and easier to maneuver than the display in the original Cruiser. Which came out in 92, so we could go pull up that issue. The cooling fan is smaller and lighter. It used to require direct AC power for the cooling fan, but now it draws power directly from the LCD panel. Oh boy, this thing came out before it should have. Let me just say that.
Hello, I'm here to project with my with my Cruiser 325.
You hear the clunk as the radiator fan clutch kicks in. Clunk.
I just knocked over Hot Wheels for that joke, but I regret nothing.
Yeah, it's worth it. By the way, in response to everybody who's talking about the production process for these things, I've actually been working. Oh gosh, I have to get this on my video list. I've been thinking about trying to put together a video presentation on the history of presentations, because it turns out that yes, there were. I think a lot of people. I don't mean to talk down anybody here. I don't know what you know or what you don't know. I'm only speaking about the general audience, the general populace here. I think a lot of people. I don't know, I couldn't say a percentage, but a lot of people know about print transparencies. The idea of producing like an 8.5 by 11 sheet that you put on an overhead projector. But something that is a cultural trope that's been around for a very, 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 very long time, and people implicitly, they do know about it. They're aware that it's a thing, but they haven't, I don't think many of them have thought much about it, is the slide deck. You know, we have the PowerPoint slide deck. Well, that implies that at one point these were physical slides. How were those made? How did people make slides? How did people get charts onto slides? How did they make the charts? How did they take computer illustrations sometimes and put them onto a piece of film this big. Well, the most obvious suggestion that you might come up with is that they literally photograph a screen. Sure, if you're Bush League, but what became very popular, as far as I can tell, at businesses that had the budget and were doing a lot of this, is slide printers, which were devices that had a CRT in there, like a little tiny CRT and a camera, and you would plug your computer into it, and it would render a very high resolution image slowly. So it had a CRT in there, and the CRT could be scanned very slowly, because computers at that time couldn't produce a very high resolution image at 60 hertz, but they could produce one slowly. So you basically slowly scan a very high resolution image, and the film is just sitting there waiting, and so you can just go ahead and just scan out your entire image and then move to the next slide, and so on and so forth. And so there was a whole galaxy of these slide printers of various quality levels. I have a few saved in my eBay save searches. Have you met me? But they should still work. And the thing is, in order to do this justice, I would need to get the camera, make a slide deck, and develop it. Tony, have you ever developed film?
Like once.
Oh,
I have a friend who's very good at it, and I have a couple of friends that are very good at it, and I've been meaning to physically meet up with them and be like, walk me through a few steps. Obviously, that's been delayed because of.
Okay, fair.
But
for some reason, off the top of my head, I was just like, Tony will know how to develop.
I have done film, but I usually send it out because I don't want it to get messed up.
That's fair.
But I
could
will
just send
be
it away for
learning
development.
I will be learning it, so at some point. I can help you with that, just not now.
That's fair.
For sure in the future. I'm still just. I had the thing that I think is funny is like being like, can I play this current video game at 4K at 60 FPS, or can I play it at 120 FPS at 1080p? And instead, it's like, no, you can play it at 4K at 1 frame per minute as it slowly decides to render out your screen.
So I don't have the links handy for the photo printers I'd looked up. However, Pierre, to answer your question, they range from about this big to about this big. There are some that are the size of like a full keg, and there are some that are the size of a 6-pack. And so it's this whole range of options, because depending on which one you get, you're getting different size cathode ray tubes. Hey, that's me. And the larger ones, the very, very long cathode ray tubes, are higher resolution and higher accuracy. So anyway, absolutely fascinating stuff. But if you didn't want to go through all that nonsense, obviously doing it straight from the computer would be fantastic. And so, yeah, people would have been nuts for this sort of thing.
Two
to
notes
skip all
real
that
quick.
nonsense.
Two notes.
No,
this fan has been sitting here and I thought of the joke on the fly. Number 2, what the heck was going on with fax machines in 1992? Because other new features of the machine include a built-in fax modem option, $250.
What's your question?
Like, I have sent one fax in my whole life.
But this ain't
and
that.
I had to go to Office Depot to do it.
Okay.
Was that like everything?
Yes.
Was that everything? Okay.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm asking is like.
I'm going to answer your question in more detail.
Okay.
How else are you going to send a form? A filled out form. Email wasn't around. Not really.
I was going to say email, and then I remembered that we still saw the graph where it was like, this year 1.2 million emails were sent. Implying that not that many were sent.
Not only that, but almost all of those were text. Very, very few of those would have had attachments.
That's
true. So yes, in 1993, a fax machine was an expensive, valuable, essential part of a business.
Okay.
My monitor just started failing.
Oh dear.
Whoa! What on earth? Oh God, it's this mess. It's not important. We're gonna press on, but my monitor just started flickering and it freaked me out for a second. But I remembered it's like a G-Sync problem.
Okay.
Probably. It sucks because I spent $800 on this, which I deeply regret.
Jeez,
Anyway,
is it a color balance or?
No, it's not. It's a ultra wide. So 2190 kilobyte.
Okay.
Anyway, so the point is, fax machines solved a very specific problem, one that email also doesn't solve. I will get into that when I do a video on fax, because I'm going to be the fax apologist. I'm going to explain to everyone why fax was around and why it's still around, because it still has value. Fax is not actually that bad an idea.
I actually would like to see that, because I've never had a working understanding of it, and I never needed to use it. Like, by the time I got to the business world, it was over with. And it to me is just like, it is this vestigial appendage of a forgotten. It is the appendix of computing. It was served a purpose at one point, and the original purpose has been so distorted and lost that it just sort of seems like it's there.
Right.
And almost kind of inconvenient. Like when your appendix explodes, or when you accidentally call a fax number. Those are both the same sensation.
The same frequency.
Yeah.
That's right. 800, haven't I faxed you before? I'm pretty sure I faxed you. Or I tried. That's right, I tried. Anyway, so moving on. This is fun. Oh, actually, this is very fun. Okay, so this is a print accelerator for an HP LaserJet 2 or 3. And let's see, it's $299. It's the FlashPrint 100, and it's the first product designed to speed Microsoft Windows printing that works with the HP LaserJets 2 and 3. And it is a card that you put... Oh, my God. Wow.
Excuse me. What the hell? This product consists of a 16-bit add-in card that you plug into your PC, a cartridge you plug into a font slot.
Yes, this completely predates you. There's no way you've ever heard of this. So,
did you like shove an actual?
All right,
font,
all right,
like
all
you
right.
take it?
Let me explain. So, Tony, and
yes.
to whomstever it may be concerned. So it works like this. There were a few different ways to print back in the 80s and 90s. But what you used to do is you sent... Sorry, let me back up. Today, when you make a print to your printer, you send a bitmap to the printer.
Yes.
So it is for every single point in the image, you send a red, a green, and a blue value. Or a cyan, a yellow, and a magenta, and a black. I don't know which.
Yeah.
That is not how anything worked back then, because that's too much data. And you couldn't necessarily get it across fast enough, or the printer may not be capable of printing like that. Dot matrix printers, for instance, did not necessarily have the ability to print in a pixel-wise raster format. Instead, and then there were other types of printers. For instance, there were wheelwriter printers, which were based on typewriters. They could only print letters because they physically had letter impressions that they mashed into a ribbon to write a letter, okay? Those were actually king. Those were great because when you printed on a dot matrix printer, which was perhaps the most popular type for about 20 years, a dot matrix printer uses a series of pins that strike the page to produce letter shapes as it passes across the paper. So it's punching through a ribbon. As a result, there's a limited resolution. If you've got so the primary distinguishing factor with dot matrix printers was how many pins they had. A 9-pin printer only had 9 vertical dots. I think I want to say, I don't think it was 16, but maybe it was 16-pin was like the really good stuff. So if you think about it, no matter how slowly it moves the head across the page, it only has 9 possible vertical positions that it can punch. That's obviously not going to look that great. Also, depending on how fast you move, in order to get a higher quality 9 and 24, thanks everybody. 24 was the good stuff. 9 was the cheap stuff. If you wanted to get a higher quality character for a 9, because if you look at old computer printed documents that are made on dot matrix, you can tell they were made on dot matrix. They look very rough. They're not very pleasant to read. Consequently, at that time, instead of printing stuff on a computer, you might actually have asked a secretary to type it in order for it to look good.
Okay.
So with a dot matrix printer, you eventually got the ability to print in slow mode, where it would move very slowly across the page, and that would get the maximum possible horizontal resolution. And you could get what they would call LQ, or letter quality printing, by
Okay.
printing very slowly. So instead of going, it would go
I see
across
what
the
you're
page.
saying.
Okay?
Okay.
But that only went so far. So then you had the option of a wheel writer, which was essentially a typewriter that could be
Yeah,
driven
yeah.
by a computer. And because that used plastic or metal letters that had been cast into a smooth shape, when that stamped a letter, it always looked perfect. It looked exactly like a typewriter. So those were top quality, but obviously you're limited to the letters that are in the wheel.
Yes.
Then you got and so with each of these, when you printed to them, you didn't send them a bitmap. You sent them the raw letters, and
I
they
get
would
that.
render it. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Oh.
that means that they do the translation of letter to font, right? So if you bought a LaserJet printer, which were the first ones that could do really high quality and large. That's the thing. LaserJets could do large fonts. That couldn't be done on dot matrix printers for the most part, unless you were spending an enormous amount of time for it to go back and forth and write one big drop cap. You could do it, but a LaserJet could do it much more effectively. Because it drew the whole page at once. But because it was doing that, it could render a font at any size conceivable. And so you started having a desire for extra fonts, but they took up extra ROM space. So you would buy an HP LaserJet 2, and if we go pull this up here, they had a couple of like video game cartridge slots in the front. Oh God, let me just find a picture of one.
So this is the every morning I wake up and open Palm Slam.
Yeah, you open Palm Slam, barcodes and more, barcodes and more, barcodes and more, barcodes and more. Yes.
Open Palm Slam letter Gothic into my HP LaserJet.
Oh, this is delightful. So you open Palm Slam this cartridge into your printer, and it gains the ability to write USPS postal barcodes.
Oh, that's actually great.
Right? Isn't it really good?
That can I do that now, please?
You can do that online.
Useful.
You can do that. You can do that on a website.
But this is cooler.
So anyway, but the thing is that
I see a post from somebody that I follow in one of those. It was a retro tech person I like.
I probably know who you're talking about. Anyway, so this font cartridge, however, that's going to be a direct access to the system memory bus, most likely. This thing is plugging into the font cartridge slot, because otherwise, when you connect, at this time, when you plugged into a printer, you were plugging in almost universally over a parallel port, which can only run at a certain speed. The parallel port maxes out at 115 kilobits per second. I don't even know if they had them running that fast at this point in time. So this one plugs into a ROM slot on the printer and through a ISA card slot on your PC. So that basically, it's getting right to the heart of both systems. It's getting the fastest conceivable interface on both ends. This makes a lot of sense. What is wild to me is the idea that the printer is willing to play ball with this. And I'm very curious. I have a hard time believing that the printer knew that this was being done or was okay with it. My guess, utterly speculating here, but I wonder if what they're doing here is they're essentially presenting your printed document as a font, as a font-shaped data structure, and then telling the printer to print a page full of text which corresponds to the lookup indices for each of those locations.
Oh, that's really smart. And that would be really cool.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was just reading through this, but yeah, it doesn't mention anything that I can see about like how it actually works. It does say
I don't
that,
see anything explaining the details of the underlying.
Yeah, but it says it looks ungainly, but like if you're trying to print things fast, I don't know why you care.
Okay. NJ Road fan, that's interesting. So then you're saying I might be wrong, and this actually was an intended feature of the printer.
Yeah, thank you, Don Billy. Glad you enjoyed.
Well, I mean, even if it is a buffer, it's not a normal parallel buffer. A normal buffer is just sits between the printer and the PC. It just buffers the data to take the load off the PC, but it doesn't actually speed up the rate at which the file can be transferred to the printer. That was a big problem with the LaserJet 2, is how long it took to spool the file onto the printer. This one is suggesting that it actually increases the output speed, which would and the fact that it's plugging in through the ROM slot suggests to me that it is bypassing the normal spooling interface, and it is cheating. It is doing something cheating. In fact, let's see. Here we go. A one-page PageMaker graphics file took 26 seconds to print with Flash Print, compared to 40 with the LaserJet alone. They're implying this is from pressing print to having it printed. That's not just a buffer. That's got to be, and the fact that it's plugging in where it's plugging in, that it uses an ISA card, this is cheating. I would love to have some details on how that worked. Let's see.
Well,
I certainly know that
I just learned a ton, so I'm definitely not gonna have anything to add here. But the idea of just whap, I'd like a new font, please, is hilarious.
It's delightful. One of my favorite subjects is like categories of device that don't exist anymore because we have just blasted past the need to do stuff in that silly a way, right? And so we just do everything in PostScript now. Everything's PostScript or PCL. There's just no need to do all this nonsense. But it's delightful that at one point you did have to. Hey, let's talk about this thing. What is the General Parametrics Corp Video Show HQ, a system for creating and showing multimedia productions? So modular, in fact, that the PC is an optional device. That's delicious, but look at this. Look at this thing down here. This is interesting.
Is it like a really fancy titler of some sort?
I don't know. Let's Google it real quick. Let's look up the Video Show HQ. System soothes speaker's nerves. South China Morning Post.
That seems... Well, that second link is definitely not what we were looking for.
No, I don't think so. And it looks like we're not going to get a picture of this thing. Oh, and actually, here it is in PC Magazine from the previous year. Let's... Yeah, this is the... Oh, wow. So whatever it was $5,000. Anyway, let's read this. So... the system can mix still and video images, sound, animation, illustrations, and charts for most popular PC graphics applications. Starts at $5,000, increases as you add options. You can add tape deck, CD player, slide maker, and a very sophisticated remote control. So you have a computer about the size of a large laptop with an Intel i960. Hello. It's got a RISC CPU. 2 megs of RAM, 3.5-inch floppy drive. Two standard 9-pin display ports providing VGA quality output. VGA didn't run over 9 pins, though, so I wonder what they expected to plug that into. 200,000 colors. Ooh, this thing's custom. SCSI. Serial parallel, remote control, slide maker. Proprietary operating system. Wow. Got a whole menuing system. It's got transitions. Yeah, it is. It's like a titler / transition unit. Interesting. It's like a video mixer, etc. 9-pin RGB was a thing, but it's weird that they would say VGA quality in the context of a. I just don't know what you would have connected 9-pin RGB to a thing at this time that would have done anything better than. Wait, 9-pin RGB. There was 9-pin RGBI, like with EGA, but that's not VGA quality. So I don't know what this was. Anyway, it does say that you use a VGA monitor with it. Why would they use a 9? You know what? It's possible, actually, that it's possible the reviewer was wrong. I should point that out. They may have just made a mistake. Maybe they meant... No kidding. No kidding.
You hear that?
Huh.
You hear that, James Carney? Gravis is calling you out.
Yeah, I'm just going in on this reviewer. Anyway,
he's doing his best, damn it.
There's very little information on what it actually does beyond that. I wish there were some more pictures or something, because that thing's interesting. eBay.com.
I like how the unit costs $5,000 and the remote is $1,200.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, right. Oh. Right. So, I have one of these things. I'm going to pull this up, and it's going to say it's in my watch list. No, I'm not logged in on here. That's right.
Yeah, you're not logged in.
So, this is a slide maker. This guy here is actually one of the devices I was talking, or not. No, I'm sorry. This one isn't a slide maker. This is actually another device they made where you prepare your slides on another machine, and then you put them on a floppy disk, and then you take this thing to your presentation auditorium. Instead of your whole computer, and then it can display in raw RGB or a few other things. It's got the raw RGBS and composite outputs on the back there. But if we go back here, this guy here is a slide maker. This is a device that takes, I don't remember exactly how it works, but yeah, there's your video in and out. And then on the front, you just bolt on your camera. Yeah, baby. And it just has it just has a TV in there, and you just take a picture of the front of the TV. And Bob is your uncle. So yeah, I've had one of these saved in my would be nice for quite some time. And now that I know the name, I can actually look up a picture for you. Oh, wait, hang on. That looks like this is a predecessor of the pendant for the one that we're looking at. There it is. Mm-hmm. And it's got like a little screen on there, presumably so you can see what you're going to be advancing to before you actually advance to it. That's probably why it has 2 video jacks on the machine instead of just one. There's probably a preview output and then your production output.
Oh.
Anyway, that's
kind of cool.
I just typed in books.com, which apparently Barnes & Noble owns books.com. I didn't know that. I meant books.google.com. All right, what I was going to do is general parametrics video show. If we look this thing up, here we go. So this thing is very old. This is from the mid-'80s. There it is. There it is. That's what I was looking for.
Oh my God! You just literally
You thought I was joking,
slap the
but
camera
you just
on there. Oh my God!
You just put a 35mm camera, just click, and there it is. Yeah, they called them film recorders. There it is. So you had to get a card for your PC that would output up to 1,000 colors, but with a typical monitor of the time, which should have only been capable of 16 colors. So I'm not super sure how that was done. But this thing, to be clear, this thing records at a resolution of 2,000 by 2,000, which in 1985 was
that's mind-blowing.
Unthinkable.
That would that had to fill up your hard drive.
No, because it was all being rendered on the fly. So what you'd basically do is you were taking a vector image. I'm speculating here, but I read a little bit about these, and I knew that some of them work like this. But basically, you take something like Lotus 123 or Microsoft Chart, which produce vector graphics. You feed them into this thing, and then it slowly traces out a high-resolution image, not storing anything. It's just generating it on the fly algorithmically. So at any given moment, it only has a couple bytes of information.
So stupid question, but it's projecting it onto the camera as a film roll, and then the film roll is what you use to project with. Correct?
Well, you send the film away for development, then you cut it up and put it in slides. And then you project the slides.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Yep.
But it's literally just being like, I'm going to draw this image onto a roll of film through the lens of your camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's...
Yeah, baby.
Honestly, kind of smart. Because, I want to get a roll of film and I want to run through the whole thing so you can send it out to get developed. What's a good way to keep the film dark except for the aperture in which I'm intentionally exposing the film through? I wonder what device we've developed that's capable of doing that. Well, it turns out that they exist and you can just screw it directly onto the front.
Yeah, Road Fan, I don't know if this thing had a frame buffer. I don't see any info here suggesting that it does, unless I'm just missing something. But I think that 2000 by 2000 RGB at any sort of color depth, well, at 1,000 colors. I mean, you're talking about by 2,000 by, I'm sorry, I'm not doing my math right. That's a lot of RAM. It just seems like a tremendous amount of RAM. And it's $6,000. That seems like too much. I don't think you could buy that much RAM in 1985 for $6,000. I really don't think you could at all. I don't think you could buy that amount of RAM at all. I just simply don't think you could buy it, period, at any price. 85 RAM was absurdly expensive. I would expect this thing was racing the beam. I would be shocked if this thing was storing all that information. Because, I mean, a 1280 by 1024 frame buffer, is it that little? Wait, at 1,000 possible colors? How many,
1,000 colors.
That's so, I'm sorry, 1024, how many bits, to store that? Let me do the math here real quick. No, I don't care. Anyway, whatever. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter. We're off in the. Okay.
Either way, it's
we're off in the
cool.
weeds here.
I think it's cool.
These things are remarkable. I've been thinking of buying one. Okay, so this is a little interesting. NEC gets ready for mass market competition. Oh, okay. So NEC had been making computers for a while at this point, but they never really managed to fully break into the U.S. consumer market. Um, and so this is them talking about NEC has joined Compaq, Dell, IBM, and many other PC vendors in introducing a value line of PCs. So not that cheap computers had not been a thing for quite some time. They've been a thing since the early 80s. Um, pardon me. Hey, Dairy Bum, we are reading a magazine. That's what we're doing. 1983 PC Magazine. Not that cheap computers had not been a thing for quite some time. They actually had. Cheap computers had become a thing by 1982. Like I said, like right after the IBM PC came out, there were clone manufacturers that were really undercutting. But in the 90s, there was a race to the bottom that got fast because all of a sudden everyone wanted a computer. It wasn't just people who wanted computers who wanted to buy cheaper computers. Suddenly everyone wanted computers, and businesses wanted to buy lots of computers, and so on and so forth. And so all of a sudden, and especially because the clone market had gotten so bad that at this point you could buy a PC for just pennies. All of a sudden the competition got very fierce to produce a machine that was because yes, you could buy a Compaq PC clone in 1984 for half of what an IBM PC would sell for.
Yeah.
But some nameless Taiwanese company called like RMS or something would sell you one for $300, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was probably garbage. It was the same kind of issue you have today with like going on Amazon to buy anything.
Right. They have.
It's like
I call them
don't know
6
even
letters.
know what's good. Yes, yes, the 6-letter brands.
Yeah. So you could buy something from Koenig or Quepig in 1983 for horrendously undercut prices. But this was companies that people knew and respected that were trying to take back some of that market. So Compaq, Dell, IBM, who had been selling PCs at respectable prices, were like, okay, let's do it. Let's get bad. We got to get crappy if we're going to win this one.
So I have a question here that I think will illustrate this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to probably make people feel old, and I apologize. But was NEC one of the good ones? I have never heard that name.
Well,
Were they like Compaq?
No. Okay. And it's a hard answer to question. I do not, off the top of my head, I can't tell you what market share they had. I feel like NEC was always struggling in the PC market. They made some progress in some commercial markets, I believe. I don't recall off the top of my head ever finding an NEC PC. I know they made them, but I don't think I've ever seen one in person. But they wanted to. And that's the thing. They were capable of it. They could have made very good PCs. If you had bought NEC that NEC really cared about, I'm sure it would have been a very good machine. But in the United States, in Japan, I think you could buy really good NEC PCs, but not here. Like, they weren't big here. They were mostly a Japanese name. So, yeah.
So they were like them saying, "Oh, we're gonna sell this budget PC." Really, I've been scanning through this while you were explaining that too, and it looks like, we give you like it's a kit. It's not just this whole ready plug and play PC setup that they're doing is not just we are selling you an IBM clone, but it also looks like we are selling you an IBM clone PC that has a keyboard and drives and a monitor and Norton and DOS installed, like all your operating system's already installed, Quicken, like all of these things are just like you literally should be able to take the 3 things you need out of the box, plug the brick into the wall, and it runs.
Yes, and I think that now this is where I start to get fuzzy. I can't tell you the answer to this for sure, but yes, I suspect that much of that had not really been a thing until this point. Pack-in software for PCs had been a thing for quite some time, but I don't know that it was pre-installed. And the keyboard was usually included. I don't know about the monitor. I feel like that often would have been a separate purchase. And trying to basically get the highest value on drives also would have been a big deal, I think, because basically right from the get-go, the decision of how many and what types of drives you're going to get was a big deal. So yeah, like they're trying to undercut, and they're trying to do value adds. That's the term that the companies like this use.
And they're trying to basically bundle it all and throw it in. The other thing that I find interesting there too, sorry, is that it mentions that they bundle in a warranty, which I imagine wasn't super common at the era, and they also bundle in lifetime tech support, which I would love to call them up today. But I mean, was that a normal thing back then?
I think it probably was. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I wasn't sure if that was a thing that.
I don't know. I don't know what it counted for. I don't know how good it was.
I want to call them today and be like, yes, I bought I bought a model out of your 1992 PC magazine review, and I'm having some issues connecting it to the online.
So for what it's worth, oh, that's a good deal. Shoot.
Oh dear.
For what it's worth, I can find very few NEC PCs. It's hard to search for this because you'll get the PC Engine, which is a completely different thing. Let me see if I pop over here. So yeah, there were NEC PCs here. There weren't a ton. They were not tremendously popular in this country. Their laptops actually did a little bit better, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they never really broke into the PC market over here.
Okay.
As far as I can tell.
But them being like, oh, NEC is getting ready for mass market competition was just sort of like, this is a company. It's not like this is a company that was market defining. Oh, that is a good box design.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I like that.
Just real quick, I never found out what Borland Paradox was. Apparently, it's a database. This is the first time I've ever learned. This is one of those forgotten databases, I think.
Relational database management for core.
Oh, okay. So it's just Borland's version of Microsoft Access or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
I will
SQL
say,
or whatever.
that the software itself is uninteresting. The box art.
Yeah.
Give me that box art.
Oh, actually, you know what?
Good.
Yeah, this is Microsoft Access, the GUI designed database interface.
Yeah. Yep. I mostly do like stuff.
Okay.
But
sorry, it sounds. Natalie, I don't know if you're 5 minutes behind the stream or if you just researched this and found out that is how it worked. If you actually are watching in relative real time, please confirm if you were able to just verify that that's how it worked. Please tell me that's true.
What comment is this?
Natalie says that the flash print printed in character mode and rewrote the font in the buffer on the fly.
Oh, that's awesome. I
hope
that
which would make perfect sense, but I hope
that they're correct. That would be awesome. But can we go back to that box art to look at?
Yeah, it's very good.
There we go.
Oh, she has the patent. Excellent. Fantastic.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much. You're a hero. Thank you.
You do legitimately have some of the best watchers I've ever seen.
Isn't this ridiculous?
I have appeared on a bunch of different stuff, and I read a bunch of stuff to the internet, and just the immediacy is incredible. That is phenomenal.
Yeah,
wow.
let's get some hand claps. Let's get some hand claps in chat for Natalie. That's ridiculous.
I'm actually going to physically clap. That was legitimately awesome. I would love to see. Oh, they wrote out the patent.
Yep.
I searching that up because I'm curious now. If we can make heads or tails out of it, that is absolutely awesome. Thank you, Natalie.
Oh, thank you so much. I was really I was really hoping that's what it was. It made the most sense. But I just my greatest dreams realize that it works like that. Now I want one. eBay.com. Homestar1.net. It's .com. No, don't correct a flashlight. I don't want a flashlight. I want a flash print. You know that. 0 results for flash print. Save this search. Oh, whoops.
You're not logged in on this. You got to go to your actual PC. But could you pull up the patent on your PC?
I can pull it up here.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see that actually
Let's take a quick looky-loo.
Google patents. I've never actually used this.
Yep, you can get just about any patent on here as far as I know. Okay, WO19920028988A1.
Wow.
Graphic image printing system and method. So we have a laser printer having a plug connector for receiving a font cartridge, storing information, defining an image of a printable character, and a cartridge pluggably connected. Oh, go to hell. Yeah, so check it out. A first communication path carries print commands from the host to the printer, while a second communication path carries image-defining information between the host and the data store. So the host writes information defining a portion of the image to be printed into a portion of the data store corresponding to a selected character, and then commands the printing of the selected character. Yeah! Yeah! Yes! Yes! I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. This is
Oh, that's extremely cool.
It's very good. It's very good. I love it so much. Sorry, a ping pong double buffer arrangement allows the host a ping pong double buffer arrangement. Wow.
To write the next image portion while information defining a current image portion is read by the printer to form
so
a print
it's striping it. You know, you do this while I do this, and vice versa. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
And ping pong is a good way to put it, though. I like that better.
It's very good, right? So what it's doing is it's saying, yeah, exactly. It's printing the first half of the alphabet while it's writing out the data for the other half of the alphabet. Then it writes the other half, and then it comes back and starts rewriting the first half. Makes perfect sense.
Oh my god, that is incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. I love it. Can we get the pictures? Can we get the pictures? Let me download the PDF.
I think it's in French.
Here we go.
Oh no, it's in English. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the like block diagram. By the way, high speed, low cost, real-time graphic image printing system. Yeah, baby. This is just the cool. Oh, now, one of my favorite things is I love reading patents because they include a plain English description of the background of the invention, which are written like editorials. In recent years, laser printers have come into widespread use because of their ability to rapidly and quietly print high-quality images at a reasonable price. This is basically...
The patent is currently trying to sell me on laser printers.
Well, that's the thing, is that patents, for some reason, are expected to explain why what they're doing matters. And so every time you read one, it is a time capsule explaining what the limitations of technology at the time it was written were. Do you understand why I'm so pumped? This is a person in 1990 writing about what they perceive as the biggest limitations of laser printers.
No, I think it's extremely cool. I think the thing that I'm more amazed about is that you have a watcher who was like, this topic's interesting. I'm interested in what these people are saying. I'm going to go find the patent for it and tell them about it before they're done streaming, which is extremely cool. It's just, that to me is like, that is audience engagement beyond the level I could ever imagine.
Yeah, baby.
It's so cool because, like, no offense to 1992's PC Magazine, but this is cooler.
But yeah, it's fantastic because it goes into all the details, right? It explains the longer time required to print graphic images does not result from an inherent limitation in the printer. The increased print time is caused by a bottleneck in the communication path between the host computer and the printer. So,
what we really need is we need you to get one of these things and a LaserJet 2, and you need to do a video on this.
Demo it. Yeah, I would love to.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, that's legit. Oh, I see. So, Guapo Sneeze, you have a patent, and you actually mean you personally hold the patent. All right. Ooh, wow. I'm so pumped at this time. I got all this energy now. That was fantastic. Borland. Once again, by the way, here is a specific attack from Borland against Fox Pro 2.0 by name. So that's pretty tasty.
Also, Natalie, sorry, I've been using they just because I wasn't sure, but if you prefer she, that's also cool. I just saw the emoji in the chat. Sorry about that. I just use they until I'm certain. But continue.
Also, Natalie, I was referring to Guapo Sneeze, who appears to actually hold a patent. If that wasn't confusing. I would like to do a video where I talk about old database systems, or in fact, even current ones, because I think that I wonder if a lot of people know what the hell Microsoft Access is, and what it can conceivably be used for. So Access, Fox Pro, this Paradox thing, DBase, there's all these sophisticated, like, rapid application development database systems that I think most people have never seen, and there's a certain amount of hue and cry around the Macintosh's FileMaker, which is connected to this whole situation. But I don't know that most people have really seen most of the other software that was in this segment. And it would be neat, I think, to do a video where I just say, okay, here's what you could do in 1993 as far as databases. Here's all the different things you could do as a programmer, a non-programmer, right? No tippy tap, no typey, because there was so much you could do. You could do stuff with Access, like you could set up a database on one computer, and then you could run software applications on a bunch of other computers that all networked back to the first one and had like mutexes so they didn't stomp on each other and all this, and not a line of code, not a drip, not a drop. Really cool. And I think that'd be a neat topic for. I need to open a notepad, make a couple notes here. Borland, Paradox, and other DBs, and slide printers, and video presenter. Gadget.
And also, please, the printer font, Open Palm Slap.
Yeah, let me look into that.
I don't know if you can find one, but I want to watch that video now.
Yeah, that's okay. I made some notes.
Believe it or not, everybody watching, the part of the reason I joined this whole presentation is because I kept genuinely learning things from Gravis's videos. So every time he releases a video, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm gonna learn new things today.
Okay, you know what, Tony, I think you need to get out of here soon, right?
I do apologize. Yeah, I'm in Central Time and I gotta work tomorrow, so I will need to.
Do you have a few more minutes?
I have like a few more minutes if you want to finish up. Yeah.
I need to run to the restroom very fast, so I'm going to do that. If you'll carry things for a moment.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But there's actually something I want to talk about. Right, I just flipped to the next page and I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about this real quick. So
okay.
let me run, do that, come back, and then we'll talk about that, and then I'll let you go.
That's totally fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. Show people cars.
I suppose I will. But thank you so much, Natalie, for that, because that's really cool. I don't know. I'm more recent, I think, to doing especially live stuff for the internet, because I've only done a few Twitch things. But being able to find that is just really cool. I seriously enjoyed that. And that tech is interesting to me, because I had never even heard of the whole font card concept before tonight. Because again, like I said, most of my background is software, and like I'm not going to pretend that I'm some amazing programmer or anything. I just do it because there are certain areas that I am good at it, and those are what I've been paid to do, and it's fun enough. But I do prefer like automotive stuff, and I don't know. I like check back through. Oh yeah, Foon was actually the person I saw on there, who is a very good poster. And Act, huh? I don't know that database. I've literally only used SQL, so I have no idea about it. So I'm trying to see if I've got something else here that's interesting that I can that I can share. Oh, actually, I do have, and I don't know if Gravis has ever talked about this or not, but I was actually printing these out recently. I could probably get a Thingiverse link and post it on my Twitter if anybody's curious. But they're little Hot Wheels cars holders. That's why I have these up and stuff. I do like that. I don't know how to model yet. I'm still working on that, and it's really hard to I guess get decent software to work with it, and I don't want to pay. So I can do like basic stuff, but like things like this handy are quite nice, and I have not been able to do that yet. So I've just been going through Thingiverse for that kind of stuff. And actually, I have a bunch of other things. Oh yeah, let me see. I did N-scale railroads for a while too, so I used a lot of what I like about tech stuff is not only the sort of the look into the past type retro computing tech for tech stake thing, but like what people would have used it for in the era or not. So I end up trying to figure out the most eclectic uses I can for the technology that I do possess, and like 3D printing and N-scale model railroading is a great example. So like I would be curious to see, like I think more so even than the video production devices that Gravis is looking for, I think I almost would want to see something that somebody made with it more, because I'm curious, like especially with using something that has such strict limits like a titler or any of that. Like part of the reason I want to do the video and shoot it in edit and Premiere on Windows 3 is not because of the niche appeal, but just like the limits of working with such a constrained system is appealing to me, because it makes you have to think more creatively. So like from that aspect of things, I would love to see finished products from that kind of era at one point. And if whenever Gravis comes back, if he can
I'm
ever
here.
find, if I can ever find some stuff to, like, you've been sending me those videos of like old, what was that last one you sent me with the cat video? What was that shot on? Was that was that just a VHS,
That was
like a mini
VHS.
VHS?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
VHS. Yep.
But one of the things that was interesting that I think was a breakdown that you discussed in your history of home video special, which was really slick. You should definitely check that out if you get a chance to if you haven't seen that one yet. But one of the things that was interesting to me was looking at a breakdown between like old, what is it, eight something reel, the real
8
video,
millimeter, 8 millimeter
real
film.
video, yeah, versus the later home video, more traditional Betamax VHS tape based ones. Was the way that it was shot. Like if you watched, and I remember Gravis talked about this as well, so this isn't an original thought, I'm just, one of the things that appealed to me was like the old 8mm video cameras had a trigger on it. You'd pull the trigger, you'd shoot some, and then you would stop. And so you'd end up with these little like composed vignettes almost of things that were individual snippets of life stitched together, even for a home film, versus like if you set up my parents have VHS, mini VHS camcorder that they recorded me on as a child, and those are long form, here's 20 minutes where I turned the camera on and pointed it around, because I'm not worried about burning film. So like part of what I'm curious about with this kind of like how technology is used type thing is just like how people used it in different ways within the constraints of the tech. I guess that's a long way around it. I was just trying to bring my own take on why this stuff interests me. I think part of what's cool is like, yes, it's cool for its own sake, but I also really like the idea of, like that's why I went crazy with that font thing. That is such a cool end run around a constraint of a system that we would never even, didn't even know that constraint ever existed. So anyway, Gravis is back now. So I apologize. I just wanted to finish my thought up.
I would not have wanted you to not finish it. Yeah, so let's but I know you're running out of time here, so let's go ahead, and I was looking at some more patents. Let's go ahead and take this. So Emerald Light files images of your documents and faxes. Now, so this is a thing that I used to call a failure, and now I'm not sure because it's more that it was just never my field. But basically, there's been this trope, if you will, going in the same way that like VR or touchscreens didn't take off the first 20 times they were tried. There's been this ongoing trope for decades of the idea that you will digitize all of your receipts and invoices and so on, and put them all on the computers so that you won't have to keep the paper around. Very cool idea on its face. Seems like a great idea, but of course, there's problems with it. Sorry, real quick. TRS80, I'm interested in that stylistic 2300. Send me an email. I always take donations. So anyway, you can buy now, and you've been able to buy for quite some time, business card scanners. A little document scanner. It's only this big, and you put a business card in it, it pulls it through, and then you get a little scan of it. And I think it scans on both sides. And then I've seen these in use in doctors' offices for scanning insurance cards and stuff like that. But it's the sort of thing that, like, you could just see how it just fails to stick in your personal life unless you're like a really organized professional, adult, which I'm not. So
That's a good one.
it's interesting to me that this was already going on in 1993. I actually didn't know that, and I'm kind of curious how it works because scanners did exist, but I wonder, what it uses. Also, so this is not simply a scanner. You could buy those. You could buy like a Logitech scanner in like the late 80s, for instance. But if you look at the screenshot here, that's not Windows. That whole thing is the program. The whole thing. Every single thing in this screenshot here is one program for managing your like receipts and invoices. That's interesting, right? So that's quite a take, Natalie. Most of the Office tech was meant to be a direct replacement for secretaries. That is a take, right? It's trying to replace the entire person, all of their skills. So this says...
She's right.
Yep.
She's right.
This says that, and this is the light version of the program, apparently. This is the low-calorie version of Amera. So there is an even bigger, thicker version of this. This thing implements a hierarchical database where you make sets, categories, folders, documents, and then, in the case of image documents, pages. Each one can be represented by an icon and placed on your desktop. Windows didn't have a desktop at this point, so this program has its own desktop.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can build, you can have sections for, accounts, for expenses, travel, etc.
And your faxes automatically scan in, and then you just move them.
I would assume. Yep, here we go. Amara Lite automatically receives faxes from Class 2 compatible fax modems and converts them to Amara format documents. Then they're stored in the inbox, and from there you file them where they're supposed to go. So this replaces the entire secretarial process. And you're right. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Tony?
I was just going to say it also will replace your physical file cabinet, theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically,
assuming you run a business and you're like, these newfangled computers in 1993, which I assume had a little bit higher failure rates than today.
Yes. They did.
And didn't really have great mirroring or backup software that was easy enough for somebody who was not really an expert to navigate through. That's probably why I didn't catch on. Is like, let me see. I just got faxed these taxes for 1992. I'll just throw away the hard copy and keep it in my computer.
It must have been a wild decision to make at that time. Sorry, the point that Jessica's making, yes, absolutely. Document management systems are an entire category because businesses that are dealing with ungodly numbers of accounts receivable, accounts payable, invoices, and so on and so forth would have wanted a system for storing these. And Amara, I'm guessing the full version of Amara was probably something that was something that thousands of people could use, or at least many people, many secretaries. A particular piece of software that I have some experience with is something from a company called Kofax Total Agility, which was literally this, and the company I worked for at one point banged it into an application it was completely inappropriate for. But basically, that is exactly what it was for, is like it was a document processing environment where you created workflows that were triggered by events. And so you take you ingest some documents, and the documents go into a workflow, and then that triggers a person to work tickets basically out of the inbox.
So Salesforce with paper.
Sort of, I would guess. I haven't seen much about Salesforce, but the idea is, that it has. There is a certain.
That's what I've seen.
there's a series of steps that must be taken, and you have to do them in order, and each one results in certain outcomes. It's an interactive flow chart. So not only does this file, potentially file your information, but the thing is, you'll notice that, for instance, I'm speculating here, but notice at the top here that we have sections for onboarding process, capture application, loan application, right? So this is like, okay, on the first step, we generate a document by taking in information about this person, and that produces a document, which then gets printed out and given to this person and filled out. And then they give it back and you digitize it, and then they have to give you a scan of their ID. And so this has a checkbox to indicate the person is giving you the ID. And when you check that, you have to give it a copy of the scan or it won't let you proceed. So this takes the rules of business. This takes the procedure that a business uses and turns it into discrete steps that must be filled out, and it logs every single step of the way, who did it and when, and forces them to take particular steps. And if something goes wrong, they are incapable of skipping steps. It's impossible. It won't let them. And so you then have like permissions levels that let you punch out and have somebody else, perhaps do an end run around the rules if they decide that this is something that an exception is appropriate, and so on. And so, this whole thing is just for ingesting documents. Anyway, so this thing, let's just check real quick if it's on WinWorld. Did I?
Fair quotes.
Wow, it is aggressively not on WinWorld. Is it on Archive? I love CRMs. Don't get me started on CRMs. The problem is they're mostly just inaccessible. Whoops, I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, somebody asked where you got the magazine from.
Oh, sorry. The magazine is from Google Books. Um, if you look up, if you just look up 1993 PC Magazine on Google and then go to the books page, it will books tab. You'll find this. It's like the first or second result. So anyway, this is interesting that Imara popped up in OS2 software CD. But it's not actually the program. It is a utility package from the same company. So yeah, this program's just kind of gone. Which is, yeah, it's a huge bummer. And I'm just going to check real quick, but I don't think I'll be able to. I don't think this will. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Business and industrial? Nope, that's a padlock. See, I think we're SOL. I think Imara is just gone. Which is a bummer. I wish I could. Maybe I could find a review of it somewhere. But anyway, all right. So that was real good. I know Tony's got to go. It's getting late. I want to have a beer. I know I've had a couple beers, and I had one in the green room before we started. But I'd like to have a couple more. And I wouldn't be very good company if I did at the moment. I'd just start screaming about. I'd just start screaming about groupware. Nobody wants that. So I mean screaming. So. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Tony, thank you so much for coming again and joining me.
My pleasure.
I'm going to.
Thank you for having me.
I think we need to plan these out. We've now had 2. They were very good. I'd like to do more, but I think we want to try and schedule it ahead of time so people can perhaps make plans to show up. And I do want to see if I can do a poll to find out when people want me to run these things, because I think we maybe started a little late.
Yeah,
neither of our fault. Just it was a spur.
We planned this very late, and I was like, I'm gonna go get groceries because I ran out of food. But like, I will gladly set aside time for it. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. I'm sure there are other magazines out there too, but I think it should just be a trope that we shouldn't be allowed to progress to anything else till we finish this issue.
I agree. We are going to. Where are we? Where are we in this?
We're at page 56.
Right, but out of
I don't know.
Out of how many? I have no idea. I would like to know how far in this freaking book that we are. There's no easy way to find out.
Just go to the beginning maybe, and then take a look at like the table of contents.
That could be a thing, yeah. I'll try that.
And
it's really funny that it doesn't just have a page count.
There we go.
So, oops,
contents. Oops, nope.
Yeah, let's find out what are we up against.
Oh dear God.
Page 126. So we're just under halfway through. It goes further than that. 150.
And we might be able to get there.
Oh gosh, there's like a review. There's like a review of Paradox 4 in here and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I think this is I don't know. We might go quicker next time because we got pretty off in the weeds.
To be fair, you also bought like 2 things on eBay.
I did. Well, I bid.
Okay, well, you're trying to buy 2 things off of eBay. And the other thing too is like I see a lot of like, here's more fax software, and like I think we have covered that.
I would like to see. Yeah.
Pardon me. I would like to see more fax stuff from like an informational perspective, but I think for now, especially looking at the level of knowledge that your chat has, I am a little bit too dumb for this channel, but I still enjoy it, and I think that I don't want to drag it down with that kind of stuff. But I would like to keep going through this.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If people like having me here, I'm happy to come back again. I really appreciate it, and special shout out to Natalie too for the patent. That was super cool. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
And
yeah. I think
that's all I got.
That was real good.
Oh, I guess I should say, if you do, I posted it a little bit earlier, but it's okay if I plug myself real quick.
Always.
Okay, I have. If you're ever curious about any of my automotive writing, or my podcast, I'm on a podcast for automotive jokes, I guess. I don't know. It's just shit posting. That is my website where I work with a couple other great people who I really like. And then my Twitter. I'll just post that in. I'll put those in the chat. And that way, I don't really talk about tech stuff. Talk more about automotive things. I do like some retro tech stuff, and I will talk with Gravis sometimes about those things. But if you're curious about old autos, check those out. But thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, and I think we'll wrap. Thanks, everybody. Oh boy.
We done?
See, yeah, almost.